Yee, welcome to Barstool Bench Mob, presented by High Noon Hard Seltzer. I have the full crew here, a sulking Rico, a Jake that yelled at me today on accident. He said sorry. It was very nice. That was nice of you. And then we got Reeks. How we doing, boys? How the fuck are we doing?
First off, no sulking. This is March. It's our first freaking episode of March. It's the best
you dropped a freaking.
It's the best month of the year. The vibe should not be the way they are right now. I understand things are happening. It's ridiculous. I understand there are reasons to be down, but there are plenty of more reasons to be up right now. Like, who cares what the outside world is saying? We have a loyal audience. We have a lot of people who support us. So let's ignore what's going on. We're still fortunate to have a platform that is big enough to reach a very big audience, a loyal audience, and this is our time. I understand college basketball is under November through March, but this is March. I know it's cliche that it is March, but we're going to have the most eyeballs on us right now, so why not capitalize on it?
You know what? I think we need a...
It is March. Would have been nice if Purdue won.
That's all you got? Nothing?
I can't say anything bad, so, I mean... Whatever.
Oh my God!
Rico
has
listen,
a fucking speech. You fuck.
Rico, I got destroyed. Remember 2 years ago, Blogger School?
Let me
Guess
tell you
who
something.
that was for? This guy.
Riggs was both. We have two people. I'm pretty sure, but no, Riggs was. I'm pretty sure was called a human rain delay.
No, that was me.
No, that was
me on
that
this.
was you.
Yeah.
Greeny.
I was called a human rain delay as I was on a flight to broadcast a professional lacrosse game on NBC.
Yeah, we're not.
So one person's opinion doesn't mean everything, Rico.
Listen, we have an interview with Tyler Hansbrough. We have an interview with the Storm Chasers. We're gonna talk about our Wisconsin trip. This podcast. Jake is going to facilitate this podcast while the three of us go nuts on each other. This podcast is changing up a little bit. Hopefully Rico talks this fucking episode, but we'll see. Just get into it, and we'll start talking about it.
And here we go.
Before we start talking about everything that's going on in our world and Wisconsin, all this shit, I want to talk to you about the one thing that stays happy on this podcast and makes me happy is High Noon Hard Seltzer. Real vodka, it's real juice. I think Dave said it. If you do a blind test of every hard seltzer, High Noon would win easily because it's just the only real vodka. So it's we're not bullshitting you. The black cherry, the grapefruit, the lime, the watermelon, the peach, the passion fruit, all of that is the best of the best. We went to Wisconsin. They had it as well at the bar for us. Everywhere we go, everyone's like, oh shit, you guys are actually kind of right. High Noon's the best. So go to your liquor store, go wherever they sell High Noon Hard Seltzer, and find out for yourself. And it's March, so when you sit on your couch for the 4 days of the March Madness tournament, have responsibly drinking some High Noon Hard Seltzer.
Yeah, if you caught our first episode of the Barstool Bracket Buzz exclusively on YouTube, I have my bracket written out, and instead of the geographic regions, on Sling, I have the High Noon regions.
Yes.
I think Big Cat said the grapefruit region was the gauntlet.
It might have been the pineapple region.
Either way.
Regardless, it's a gauntlet.
Yeah.
But,
Let me guess, you put Kentucky there.
I forget which one
it
was Kentucky.
Yeah.
All right. There's a lot going on around us with this podcast. People are shitting on it. We've also realized that people do like it. I don't give a fuck. I like doing college basketball. I'm going to be transparent, which I've been transparent, but there's narratives out there. I don't know everything. I don't give a fuck. I watch what I watch, and if you'd ask me what's going on, who's in this conference, and they're not a Power 5, I'm probably not going to fucking know. I don't care. I just love college basketball. When I watch, I talk about what I see. That's what it is. You guys can talk for yourselves, but that is why this podcast is also funny. And I'm not the guy that's going to break down fucking X's and O's. That's why we have Jake. And Jake could facilitate us. Riggs watches a lot. You watch a lot. I watch whatever the fuck I want. And that's why this podcast works. So shut the fuck up. And I don't care about your opinion, but everyone that's listening, We are trying to be funny, so I don't care. Rico, you can go because Jake already said his piece.
Yeah, obviously I care about the success. We're in it's a difficult vacuum, I guess, when you care so much about it. And, like, I don't know, how many times have I called both of you, like, at 9, 10 o'clock at night, like, always trying to reinvent.
But we're not.
I don't know. I guess when you're chasing
lie.
a title at a certain point, sometimes you make a trade. So, like, I'm powering through the next month, and we'll reevaluate things of where we want to go.
See, no,
in the future.
I'm not gonna just let you say that shit because we're not powering through the month. It's our favorite fucking month, and if you're gonna sulk, I don't want you on it. That's a complete honest opinion.
We're going to capitalize
which
on
I'd
this
love
month.
you to be a part of because I love doing this podcast with you because you're funny. But we're not a Tempos podcast. We're not a fucking Ken Pom podcast. We are who we are. I'm not changing for anybody. I'm doing what I do. Marty doesn't know so-and-so on this team. Could give a fuck. I probably don't. I don't care. But what we're going to do, we're going to ramp up the YouTube. I want to do with play. I'm going to throw shit at a wall. If it sticks, if you guys like it, you tell me. I'm going to have a feature on a player that fucking was all-time in March Madness. And it's not going to be an interview. They're going to explain it from their point of view, and we're going to get exclusive content on the YouTube for that. I don't like that podcast that came out was honestly, it opened up my mind to a lot. Dave and Dan were giving advice. You were mad because I understand why you're mad. They shit on us a lot. But I think we have a good group where we are successful in this company already. We've been here a while, but we're just trying to make this successful, which is never said it's successful, but I do think that they gave good ideas, and I do think we need to go away from X's and O's, and we're going to talk about the game still, of course, but there's more to college basketball, and we need to find the fun in college basketball than – because sometimes, I'll be honest, we're being honest podcast, I tune out sometimes because we're talking about – we used to talk about 50 games, and it's my fault too, but like in reality, not a lot of people care about 50 games. We can talk about the fun things with it, and if I'm wrong, we could talk about it on this podcast right now, but I think that we can find something that works, and I think we all throw shit at a wall until something sticks.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, do we not want to be a fully analytical podcast? Yes. However, the reason I got my foot in the door in Barstool in the first place was to play the Big J role, the stat guy, and the analytics. Am I going to unsubscribe from KenPom because of what went on a few days ago?
No.
Absolutely not. That's not what we're saying. But it's the balance of, like you said, why I'm on this podcast, to help facilitate. And yes, I'm still going to bring up KenPom and stats here and there. We don't need to rely on it.
What people don't realize, too, about like Big Cat's one of the biggest nerds of sports. He knows everything, and KenPom, but it turns out he's very fucking funny when he's not, and like he could talk about sports, how guys talk about sports. Like he uses that knowledge, but also just talks about the funny shit. So I think we can do it. If you guys have ideas, let us know. But yeah, Reegs, go.
I want to say the reason that this can work and it will work is we all fell in love with this sport for different reasons, right? We all have that moment where it's like, I fell in love with college basketball. I told you today, I fell in love with college basketball because of the 1995 ACC tournament. Fell in love with Randolph Childress. Like, that made me love college basketball, my number one sport my entire life. So we can address it, but talk that way. It's like, yeah, I love analytics. I love breaking down the game. But at heart, I'm a Kentucky fan. I'm a guy who grew up in ACC basketball, Big East basketball. There's teams I don't like. I fucking hate Duke, which we can argue about. I don't like North Carolina. I don't like certain teams. I don't like that's what makes it unique. We don't have to be this stuffed up podcast of being like, well, they're okay. Where it's like, no, like, yeah, they might be okay, but I hope they lose the next game.
Yeah,
and that's what we can do. We can talk that way while still using things to like in our benefit for the argument. Like if I want to say, hey, I think Wisconsin's overvalued. Here's why, and I can say like they're winning close games, and it's this number on KenPom, but also like yeah, they're winning games.
And I'm gonna speak for myself too for a second. When people. It got to me for a second when I was like, Mario doesn't know this, and I'm gonna be like, I don't give a fuck if I don't know the sixth guy on a team or even the third guy. I watch the games. I don't retain all the guys' names. I don't give a fuck. I don't need credibility. I got here for being myself. So I don't want to be this credible fucking source. So
I do love a segment idea of bringing up random mid-majors during conference tournaments and seeing if you can guess what conference they're in.
And I'm going to be completely honest, I probably don't even know any of the conferences. I know the
Right, but
SWAC.
wouldn't that be
I
fun?
know the OVC, you said?
UC Irvine, go.
No idea.
Yeah.
Big
But
one.
again,
guess
like,
what? There are 100
I'm
people listening
done.
with
I
you.
don't want to pretend like I fucking know. Like, I
No.
am a big college basketball fan, but I don't give a fuck about that until I bet on them.
Now I'll feel
That's
less
how it
bad
is.
calling you a moron because you're admitting sometimes you are.
I am. Like I
And there
don't
are people
care
listening
about
like
being
that.
like this credible source. I didn't go to here to be a fucking stick up my ass knowing about every fucking game. I don't give a fuck. And I'm gonna tell you this. I think you get into that a little bit where you want to be credible, which you are credible. I understand you know basketball, but you're funny for different reasons. When you bring up tempo and all that shit, no one gives a fuck. Am I wrong?
No, but it is exhausting to be like to go at 100 miles an hour all the time.
Yeah, I don't need. I'm not saying to
All right.
do your shtick of being like mad, and I know it's not shtick because I fucking work with you. It's not. But I'm not saying you have to be 100% and like all on tilt at all times. Just be yourself. And we don't need it. We have the guy right here that's going to do that. Me and you and Reegs are going to go against each other, and I'm not going to go away from myself. I've gone away from myself a lot at this company because that's how it happens. And I'm going back. I fucking made an egg before, and I got 1 million views. That was me. It finally feels good to be back to me, so you go to you. No?
And I'm going to be living and dying with teams I like, bets I make. Like today, I lost UNC Asheville at the buzzer against Charleston Southern. I hate Charleston Southern because they're in North Charleston. Can't be fucking Southern when you're in the north part of the city.
That's
I hate
facts.
the school for that reason.
That's fact.
This is what this is. We're 3 fans. We're 4 fans that are going to talk about the sport of basketball during the best time of the year.
You say something because you just haven't said anything.
Yeah, I mean, just go like it's I think it's everybody like no the narrative. Nobody wants to hear you serious. We're not really trying to do that, but to go 100 miles an hour, you're gonna burn yourself out as well. Like that's exhausting.
But you don't
to
need
me
to go
too,
1,000. You don't need to go at 100 miles an hour. You just the way like I'm not 100. I'm just being my like how you would talk to me during the game. Like you sat down with me at a game. I'm not. You know, you're not talking about stats and talking about well, look how like their tempo, look at their defense. It's like, oh, that fucking Edie doesn't jump because his bones don't work and he's a fucking tall. How does he take a shit? That's how I talk about games, but we can talk about it in a different way than fucking breaking it down. I think this part of the podcast we're gonna wrap it up because this is for us. That was for us. We need to talk it out. You need to just relax, honestly, and be you.
I really do care about it, so I guess that's.
I know you do,
where we're
and
at,
that's
but-
why you freak the fuck out, and that's why you're a passionate guy. I understand, but when I'm saying this shit, I'm not shitting on you. It's admitting of how it feels great to admit how I actually love college basketball, and it's not gonna bother me if someone says Marty doesn't know anything about it. I know what I know, and it's fun for me. So if you want to listen, don't want to hate listen, do it. I don't give a fuck. You need to stop worrying about everyone's opinion about knowing if you're credible in this sport.
I think it's more just like it's a 2-year build of like getting access to in sports kind of difficult. I know we're a power, but like we've built to this point and now we're kind of cracking in with stuff like being accessible in the forefront, and that's not enough.
But
So
Dave
it's
doesn't
like,
know
all right.
exactly what we do, but it also, and I've realized, I've said it today, going to games is fun, but it's fun for us. We need to make it fun to get someone around everybody else and get them in on it. Caleb and Rone, it was Dave and Dan's idea. That's why they love it a lot. But Caleb and Rone are very funny, but it's just they're going to a game and storming a court, but it's a narrative where, as someone like me, I'm still invested to see if Mississippi State wins tonight because they're just there and it's kind of funny. And like that's
And
what
it's
we need to
working.
do. And it's working.
Somehow every game they go to.
Yeah,
it's
it
a
also
sports
comes
star.
into luck. So it's like we will figure it out.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway, again, to wrap this up, is we hold true to who our personalities and what got us in these doors, and the podcast will be successful. Yes, I know it's counterintuitive to like what Marty was saying, but I am still going to be the nerd guy. I'm going to look at the box score and do that. You're going to say your things that make me call you a moron because I think you're a moron. Rico can call a ref a scumbag, and that's what makes Rico Rico and make people click on Rico's things.
Yes, I'm sick of just trying to like keep up with stats and shit. And honestly, it's been boring me, so I'm so happy. I feel like I've just came out of I don't know.
You're in March.
I don't give a fuck about if I don't know someone on a team. Okay. I want to talk about Wisconsin now.
Yeah. So let's set the stage. It was Sunday night, it was last Wednesday. Rico left early, 6 a.m. from Iowa. Marty, myself, and Dukes were driving after a ridiculous travel delay. We were driving from Iowa to Chicago, and Big Cat texted the three of us, me, Rico, and Marty, thinking of going to Wisconsin-Purdue next week, March 1st. You guys in? Me and Marty say yes right away. Rico says he cannot make it. Oblos
it's a
happen.
real life oblo.
Yeah, real life oblo.
Stop rubbing your hands.
I don't know if I would have been welcomed either, though. So
and that's what I want to talk about. So we go to Wisconsin. Me and Jake with Part of My Take crew, and honestly, this is why it worked too. Like they were just talking, like, "Hey, let's paint our chest." It's funny. Big Cat's 37 years old in student section, painting our chest. It's funny, so that works. So first of all, we walked in. Big Cat, I thought it was like J.J. Watt walking in. It was insane. People were going nuts. He's loved there, and I'll be honest. The amount of pictures I took and Jake took were insane as well. Like, we're everywhere. We know that. But the whole Wisconsin shit was funny because I've obviously shit on them the entire time. And a lot of people are like, what the fuck are you doing here?
You were in Rutgers gear 3 days ago.
Yeah, so we'll get to that. Yeah, so like
playing Wisconsin. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, well, like they played Sunday. I was done wearing Wisconsin Tuesday, and I'm talking shit to Brad Davison Sunday. Interview Monday, hugging him on the court on Tuesday.
Who said that? Krobanoff?
So let me just go through it really fast because I don't want to harp on it too much. But like, one, Rico would have loved to have you there. You weren't there. Oblos have him, but it sucks. Weren't there. But we do it all. Wisconsin wins. We storm the court. First of all, I've never been a part of storm the court. We interviewed Caleb and Rone, so we'll talk about that then. But it was funny. I ran into Brad while he was celebrating, and he goes, Marty, gives me a hug, says, thanks for coming. I'm like, what? Like, thanks for coming? Like, okay, sure. And then he goes and goes, where's Rico? And, like, that's on the middle of the court. Like, that's just funny as fuck. And also, one of the funniest things happened, we're storming it, and there's one girl, small girl, looks at me and just goes, why the fuck are you here? Like, I know what you've said. I'm like, all right, you're right.
Has a point.
You know what? You're right. And I was
she was going for your knee.
And a lot of
people
people
trying to take out an ACL.
Yeah, and a lot of people were like, "You don't like. Why are you here?" Like that's also why I love this shit too because I was wrong about Wisconsin, but I still kind of feel the same way. But again, I'm the most viable human in the world, as well
Except
as Rico.
For Rico.
Rico's way more. But like, hey, you're gonna give me red carpet access. I know it's for Big Cat, but like, you're gonna give me all that. And I'm going to wear Wisconsin, and I'm going to celebrate with you because it was one of the best nights of my life. Funny thing that happened, two things. First, it was, what's his name?
Greg Gard?
No. I know Greg Gard. I'm not that dumb, Jake.
Well, I don't know.
Rubinoff?
Krobanoff.
The assistant coach.
Joe
Krabbenhoff. Yeah.
Sure, him. He comes out into the tunnel. I'm waiting with Big Cat. He stops in his track, goes, I'm like, what? He goes, you were wearing Rutgers gear 2 days ago. What the fuck?
He's a big
and
dude,
I was
too.
scared, and I know obviously took me 2.3 seconds to throw Rico under the bus. That was Rico, wasn't me, because he wasn't there, obviously. So I was like, that was Rico, wasn't me. Like, go Wisconsin, because I seen you. You were giving us a lot of hard fucking time behind on the court over there. And I was like, you're right. I'm a Wisconsin guy now. I storm the court, love it. And then before the game and after. We saw Greg Gard before the game, and he goes, he said he knew Rico. He said Rico. And after the game, too, what'd he say?
Well, Big Cat's like, yeah, these guys were at Rutgers pulling for Rutgers. And he's like, oh, Rico? And we're like, yeah. And then Big Cat's like, yeah, he's a scumbag. Don't listen to him. But Marty and I looked at each other right after that, and we're like, you know what Rico's going to take away from this? The fact that Greg Gard knew Rico's name and used it for his Rico relationship's credibility. Are we wrong?
No, I mean, the clip blew up. Obviously, it was the worst clip in the history of the internet. So I'm sure he got passed to it. So obviously, yeah,
it
Gard
wasn't the worst
knows
clip.
who we are.
I thought it was funny, but you also have to see where people are come from. Where he asked about the fireworks and you had a different thing planned.
Also,
you have
Rico,
to you have to. This is through therapy. How do you did?
I didn't expect
edge.
to talk to him. I
You
took
did-
it. Yeah, I mean,
You took a chance.
Got
but
it. Didn't work out.
It worked, but it didn't work.
and I'll say this too, Rico. Big Cat even mentioned it. If it wasn't Wisconsin, it wouldn't be a big deal. It's just the dominoes kept falling against you, and that's why it became what it was. If you said that to, sorry, Jake, Frank Haith of Missouri, it gets a few laughs and we move on.
Yeah.
That's the biggest
But
reason.
We make fun of Missouri for 5 minutes on the podcast. The next
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I guess Frank Haith's not at Missouri, but you get the point.
Marty, I do have a question for you, and you might have brought it up with Caleb and Rone in the interview. You obviously didn't go to a bigger school, right? Wisconsin is almost as big as a school as you can go to in terms of Division I sports. Was it? And you've been to events. Obviously, I'm not saying this is the first time you've been to a college basketball. Could you imagine going back in life as like a 20-year-old and being there, or is it like you present age is just so much different looking at it? I always wondered that, like the small school to big school. I obviously talked to people about it, but you're living a different world.
My high school is bigger than my college. Like I did not experience anything of that in college. And Big Cat was even saying he's never stormed the court. He's like, if I can only imagine 15 years ago of me doing that. It's insane. Like we were standing in front of students.
It's awesome.
We were standing in front of the students, and I was like, yo, I'm so sorry. Like, I'll move. He's like, dude, we're all here basically for you guys and the team. Like, this is awesome. Don't worry about it. And, like, I was storming the court. I can only imagine being an actual Wisconsin fan who's been waiting for this. And, like, I know it's, like, storming the court for the Big Ten championship, whatever. But still, it's like, it was awesome.
It's all – because we stormed – when I was in Kentucky, obviously, you don't storm the basketball court in Kentucky. But we stormed the football field 3 times in my 4 years there.
Yeah.
And it was like to this day, like my cousin was visiting me one year when we beat Georgia with Stafford, and like to this day we're 35 years old. We still talk about how like my flip phone snapped jumping over the wall. Like, it's just one of those things. Like it sticks with you from a college kid to present day. And I was just curious, like you obviously going to a smaller school, going to visit and same thing with like Caleb and Rone where they get to experience it. Obviously,
yeah, maybe that's something that doesn't get conveyed. Is like we love the pageantry of college sports, but we never experienced. You know what I mean? So
I never experienced.
That's why we're trying to like go to these places to like, I guess show it or like because there's a lot of people out there who went to, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like,
anywhere.
Community college, but it's like, oh, that guy's one of the biggest Wisconsin fans, but like he's never went. You know what I mean? Like his dad was there and had a job and moved away, or like. Whatever. I think there's a lot of people who can be diehard college fans, but never were in the student section. So
yeah, for sure. And that's
to cover that is what we're
we are.
By the way, Rico, after the game, Greg Gard came into where we were recording PMT, and he saw my shirt. Said I was wrong about Wisconsin. He's like, "What's that about? I saw you wearing that." And I said, I had you guys out of the tournament preseason." And he goes, "You dumb shit."
Yep.
So Greg Gard, I was like, "Yeah, I was wrong. That's the point of the shirt."
I'm scared because Wisconsin follows me on Twitter, and people started tagging me in an old post that was on Barstool that was tweeted out from the main account where I said Gard needed to be fired. Let me tell you, I may have been wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong.
May have been wrong on that one.
You're wrong. And he was very loved us. Like it was awesome. The whole experience was cool as fuck. A bunch of what's his name? Chris Vogt came up to me after. He goes,
Cincinnati transfer. Yeah.
He goes, I better see the same energy now if we play Rutgers in
Big Ten
tournament. He's like, he said at Rutgers, he turned to one of his boys that he was with. I forget who it was. He goes, "Is that Marty Mush under the court?" And then he's yelling at us. And then he's like, and then he said the same thing. As he's here again. Like talking to him was just funny. It's like, this is how. The last question, we'll wrap up Wisconsin. It was fucking amazing. And shout out Big Cat for actually bringing us Rico. You know you were rooting for Purdue that game.
I mean, it's going to lose. At this point, I hope Wisconsin wins the title.
If I wasn't there and I'm invited, and obviously you couldn't
Just
go.
let it be. I mean, if you're going to burn, you might as well.
You didn't want us to have the greatest of times. That's a human being. I think that's a human being. If you're invited to something you can't go, I would
absolutely.
be like, I hope it's not the best time ever. It was the best time
Absolutely.
ever. Agree?
No, I can't be any more wrong on Wisconsin, so I've now.
No. This is not Wisconsin. What we said.
About missing out on the trip.
No, I knew, like, there was a 0. I wasn't really even, like, there was no way of ever negotiating it. So I kind of was just like.
You're not getting what I'm saying. It doesn't matter.
I was glad Marty and Jake had 19-hour flight delays yesterday or last week.
There you go.
Made up for it a little bit.
Yeah, because, like, seeing someone else do something cool,
Yeah.
I don't want that. It's a human. Like, I obviously, I know Reese is not, like, he's, like, happy, and you're happy for us that we had a good time, obviously.
Yeah, you want team success and individual success.
Yeah, you want to be there as well.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I want to win a
being
title,
yourself.
and I
That's
want to be
being
finals
normal.
MVP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was Wisconsin. I mean,
It was
they gave
tremendous.
us. Shout out them. Like when they called Big Cat's name to come up on stage to talk,
That was
my jaw dropped. And they also asked him before the game, do you want to do the T-shirt fucking cat? He goes, what are you, dumb? Of course I do.
Yeah.
That's a dream come true. That's better than winning a championship.
I launched one from the floor to almost the second deck, and my arm still hurts.
So me and
You wanna talk
PFT
about-
went on the court as well to throw. I need Tommy John.
You want to talk about jealousy? Xavier sent me a message after a game I was at when I was at Xavier Nova like 2 years ago, and they're like, "Oh, next time you're here, like we'll let you do the cannon. Why didn't you just tell us you wanted to do it?" I was like, "What do you mean I have to tell you? Everybody wants
of
to do the
course I
T-shirt
wanna do
cannon."
it.
Big Cat
I was
said he
like,
felt
just
like God.
Always.
Yeah.
doing
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
it
that
was,
thing was
T-shirt.
massive. It was a big wheel one that Wisconsin
They
had.
asked Big Cat to cut down the nets too. He said, "I can't be cutting down the
You
net."
gotta
Like,
draw a line somewhere.
he's like, "Dude, I didn't win it. They won a whole season. They can cut down the nets themselves. I already went on the stage and like gave him a hat, a Big Ten championship hat and shit. Like, but yeah, it was fucking crazy.
One more thing. The Kohl Center is the nicest college basketball venue I've been in.
Not even close to it.
No
I've ever
close
been.
second right now.
Really?
Nicest
not
being
even close.
meaning what?
What makes it
It's like
so
an
nice?
NBA arena.
If walking the concourse, it feels like you're at an NBA
Okay,
arena.
okay.
The size of it, there's what, three? There was an
Three.
upper deck, a club level,
Yeah.
and a lower.
and there's suites. There's
Yeah, I have
like-
never seen
Yeah.
the Carrier Dome has. I can't think of other college basketball.
Xavier
arenas.
has suites. I know
Xavier?
that. And I think UC upgraded.
just
to
like-
So I could be wrong with
yeah.
some of these newer ones.
just
but it
walking.
was
Like
just-
they didn't even give us a full tour. Like with just the office and stuff. It was
yeah,
one
we
of
didn't see
nicest
the like practice facilities or anything.
One
But
of
the
the
arena
nicest
itself, they play hockey there. They have concerts there. It was jaw dropping on a
Yeah.
college campus. How nice of a facility it is, and
What's it, like 20,000 fit in there or something like that?
probably. But yeah, it felt like an NBA vibe. The whiteout was unbelievable. Yeah, shout out Big Cat.
Yeah, because I guess Assembly Hall is nice, but it's dated.
It's old.
Right, that's for the history.
Yeah.
You're there for the history. Kohl Center 17,230. But
They have concerts there. They play hockey there. It's a
Makes
lot.
sense.
Yeah.
yeah,
But it was awesome.
it was so cool.
And the atmosphere was loud as fuck. Couldn't hear the whistle. I was so focused on the court storm, I didn't even know Chucky hit a bank. I didn't know they even hit the backboard.
Yeah, can we talk about that ending real quick?
Right.
Right, like the two bank shots. Like winning a Big Ten title on two bank shots is fucking absurd.
With sandwiched in the middle, Brad Davison, a
Jaden
91% free throw shooter and
Yeah,
missing.
missed. Right.
Yeah, and Jaden Ivey comes down, hits a three. When a three
No
hit,
timeout.
He misses the layup.
when a three hit, I had flashbacks of like Big Cat like getting
On the floor in
on the
Indianapolis.
because that's what I thought was going to happen. And I mean, dude, watching the game, me and Big Cat talked about it too, being like, we have an appreciation for big men because they were getting beat up down low. Like, especially with Edie, dude. He doesn't jump. He doesn't even know where he is half the time near the rim. He's just so tall that the rim pops up in his eyes and he throws it in. He's insane.
And it's like Vogt 7 feet tall too.
Yeah.
Like so you
Yeah.
just have and Crowd's what, like 6'10"?
Yeah.
So they have a bunch of big guys. Yeah, I can imagine
Talking
that.
to Vault after, he was like, dude, he's too big. Like, you can't stop him. You have to, like, just try and disrupt him. Like, he's just too big. I'm like, bro, you're 7 foot. He's like, I understand. I thought I'd be the tallest guy on the fucking thing. Like, it's like,
I can't imagine living like that.
On the
No.
opposite.
Like just being
I said,
that
I
big.
literally want to ask, like, I asked Hunter Dickinson, he's 7 foot. Like, I want to ask him, like, how do you shit? Like, my legs go, like, that's hard to poop. His legs have to go probably straight out.
On the opposite,
that and just like, how do you just sit anywhere? How do you
Yeah.
just move?
He can't go. He can't
He's so
fly
big.
Spirit Airlines.
You can't fly Southwest Airlines.
No.
on the opposite side of a 7'4" guy, Big Cat was going at it with Jared Wolbrun. Who
Hey,
his shirt was
Wolbrun-
off in the first half. Then his warm up set was on in the first half,
Yeah.
and then he took off.
Fuck that guy.
I mean, he and Big Cat were staring each other down.
He took his jersey off so we could know his name. 1,000% to see
He
what
wasn't
his,
getting
he
it.
probably wants some Instagram followers and he like said like fuck you to us, so it's just awesome. Like it was fun, but
This
he
the
would
kid
get up.
from
I love that movie.
Purdue
Yeah,
walk.
Purdue.
I don't know if he's
We're
a
like,
walk-on, but
sit
he
down,
didn't play.
buddy. You're not getting in, and he took his jersey up and obviously didn't sniff the floor. He was like 4'7".
Great move. I love that move.
Yeah,
it's,
I know.
It's an NIL era, Marty. He's trying to get the Barstool.
There's a reason why Jake knows his name, because he took his jersey off. He would have no idea who he was.
Yeah, I would not know who he was.
Yeah.
I love
Look,
that.
I don't know
move.
everything
You
either.
know what? I respect that move more than anything Wisconsin did, even winning yesterday. That guy in the middle of the game saw Big Cat, saw Jake, saw Marty, saw PFT, and said, "This is my time."
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the food
I
at the
respect
Kohl
the shit
Center.
out of
Going back to that for a second,
Food was
unbelievable.
great. Yeah. Food
Just
was
looked
one of the
ridiculous.
spreads
The
was
spread looked
a
ridiculous.
charcuterie board and lobster rolls. And then he had
Yeah.
prime rib, chicken fingers, fries, crab cake sliders, a full bar. The dessert was a rainbow cake. I think Big Cat had four
ice
ice cream
creams,
bars
yeah.
in like a 10-minute span.
doing 4 ice creams and going to the student section, jumping up and down is tough.
Unbelievable.
Especially at 30s. Yeah,
I've also
especially in your
never
late 30s.
stood for that long in my life either. I haven't stood for that long in so long.
I've stood longer, like Disney. It's like a 3-hour wait for
Hey,
something.
you sit on a car, you sit on a ride or something.
Yeah, for 2 minutes after
Oh,
a
I
3-hour
would
wait.
never wait I would never wait 3 hours for. A
Oh,
fucking
see,
thing.
at Disney, and my dog's barking. Hold on.
Don't worry about it. We're about to.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
We'll move on. But anyways, yeah, that was the Wisconsin trip. Unbelievable. Thank you to Big Cat for bringing us along for the ride. And we'll get to our interviews in a minute here. But before we do that, we want to remind you about Bare Bottom Clothing. Make getting dressed the easiest part of your day with Bare Bottom. Try on any of their joggers, shorts, or tees, and you'll immediately understand why so many guys have made Bare Bottom a staple of their closet. Sold exclusively through their own site, you're going right to the source for premium threads without the premium price. For each item you purchase, a school lunch is donated to a child in need. Over 700,000 meals have already been donated. Rico, I know you're a merch guy. What's your favorite item of Bare Bottom?
I love the pants that are. You have to wear the belt on the pants, but they're scrunchy. Scrunchy is the
Yeah.
right verb. Scrunchy at the bottom.
I love that. Tight.
Yeah, they're nice. All this stuff is very nice. Obviously.
Yeah, it's tremendous. So check out their latest styles at barebottomclothing.com/bench and get free shipping on your first purchase. That's barebottomclothing.com/bench. All right, it is time for our interview. It is former North Carolina Tar Heel Tyler Hansbrough. All right, we want to welcome on a very special guest. He is a national champion and a former North Carolina Tar Heel on the heels, no pun intended, of Duke, North Carolina on Saturday. It's Tyler Hansbrough. Tyler, thank you for joining us. First thing I got to ask, Duke, North Carolina, first thing that comes to mind. What is it?
For me, probably winning there my freshman year.
Oh
It's,
my God.
probably one of my. It's probably my favorite win outside of winning it in Detroit when they had Reddick and Sheldon.
It's seriously painful to watch.
Where's your shirt?
It's painful to have him on the screen.
You're talking to a diehard Duke fan.
Yeah, I've talked to him. It's when I see your face, it's just those eyes. First of all, people call it like Psycho T. We have a Psycho T right here next to me. I think you guys should talk about that for a second. But you just were just the epitome of just fuck you, because every time. But you also embrace that, no? Like during these moments and during the Duke UNC, like you also didn't you beat Duke like 6 times during your career?
Yeah, we were. We went 4-0 in Cameron, and then we won 2 at home. We split it 2 and 4 at home. But I mean the rivalry. When you hear Duke and North Carolina, that's what it's about. And usually, I caught a lot of heat in my college career, and I did like to get. I like the trash talk too, but it's usually the Duke players that everyone's always, yelling at and giving a hard time.
That they always are, and that's why I was texting before. Like I wanted to go through because everyone will say like you were like kind of Duke gets the most hate. You're right, but you kind of got some shit too. But who would be your top 5 hated Duke players?
Yeah. Well, I think everyone's got to have Grayson Allen up there.
I think he's a fine player. He just has some leg spasms and trips people on accident.
He's got to be really bad if he didn't even play against them.
Grayson Allen for sure. You got to have JJ Redick in there. I mean, what he did in college, he was super good, but he's another one of those guys that really like to hear it from the crowd. And in a way, he kind of egged it on a little bit. But then you have Leitner. I mean, who really likes Leitner outside of a Duke fan?
I love him.
Maybe maybe his family. Then you have Paulus, Greg Paulus, I would say. Was one of those guys that people just kind of didn't really like. And then obviously for me, it would be Gerald Henderson. Being in my time and seeing what he went through after the cheap shot, that would definitely be my list.
Yeah, it's tough. So I'm the same age as you. So I was a Duke fan. Honestly, I think that's kind of where I got skewed is you go on 3-time All-American, national championship, and Greg Paulus is a walking turnover. So, like, to see that, I think that time in history for a while kind of skewed it. I know they won, obviously, right after you left, but, like, those 4 years, it really seemed like no matter what, you had Duke's number.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't – our freshman year, we weren't as talented as they were, but we competed hard. And I think we kind of caught them on an off night in Cameron. But once Ty, Wayne, and, some of these other guys started evolving. We were a really talented team my years at UNC. We were tough to beat, and especially I think Ty got it going in Cameron one year and really got us a dub. But yeah, I mean, we were definitely. I feel like we were the more talented team 3 of the 4 years.
And I have a number to back that up. 4-0 at Cameron Indoor Stadium, Marty. I'm sure you're happy to hear that. But the game, obviously, Coach K's finale this weekend there. Just going 4-0 in that building with Coach K on the opposite sideline, that's got to be, aside from your championships, one of the most things you're proud of from your college hoops career, right?
Yeah, I mean, I will say it's one of the, if not the best, it's one of the best places to play. It's got the DJ, the fans, they get into it, and then the hype. Going 4-0 in there, I mean, it was great. I mean, to be honest, after we won, I was ready to get back to campus. I mean, because that's where the celebration really happens. That's half the reason, to be honest, why the wins are so fun is because come back and celebrate with all the students back in campus. But no, it was great winning 4 years in a row there.
The Duke student section gets a lot of flack. Like, you see those memes, like, they're ugly and, like, they're fucking, like, they're corny sometimes with the chants. Were there any, like, what goes into a good, and you've obviously played in the ACC, which has a rabid fan base, like, big-time basketball in North Carolina. Was there any point at any of the Duke students that, like, you were like, that was pretty good? Or was it, like, what goes into a good student section as far as being clever or, like, really getting into it? I know, like, Redick was talking about getting called the cell phones. Like, what's good and what's too far?
Too far. Well, I think Duke fans in particular, they're pretty smart. I mean, there's a reason they're in Duke.
Yep, like myself.
Well,
he did not go to Duke. Don't let him fool you. He probably wouldn't fool you, but
took an online class.
But I would say, Duke always had something clever and kind of funny to say. They never crossed the line. Duke didn't. Let me see here. I used to get stretched before the game, and me and the strength coach, Jonas Ration, were real tight. So we had a pregame routine, and there were a ton of different stretches. And for one of the stretches, we had to use a score table to stretch out my quad. So I had to lay on my stomach, and it got in a weird position. And the crowd starts chanting "Use protection," and we thought that was pretty fun. Thought that was funny. let me see here. The Shaw May, where they put a cheeseburger on like a fishing pole and like threw it out there and then reeled it back in. That was really funny as well. Let's see here. But nah, Duke's really clever. They're funny too, and it's a great atmosphere. Not to give them too much credit, but there's a bunch of like Florida State is extremely difficult. They might cross the line a little bit. NC State might cross the line, and definitely 100% Maryland crosses the line. So in the ACC,
For sure.
I'm not even sure. I'm not sure how much Maryland how many sober fans they had when we played them in the arena. But
Well, it was back when they were relevant. Now they're drinking for a different reason.
that was when they had Grievous back then. Grievous fans played.
Yeah.
But nah, Duke's. They're funny and clever.
So what's like? So I actually do think like Duke UNC is the best rivalry in sports. It's 15 minutes away, whatever it is, and these students are camping out for weeks and weeks for just to watch you guys play. So like, what was your favorite moment in a Duke UNC game?
Favorite moment. For me, in the whole rivalry, I would say my senior night when we pretty much secured a win. I actually fouled out that game, but I remember going to the free throw line when the game was pretty much in our hands, and I just raising my hands up in the air because it felt really good. Senior night, there's a lot of pressure to win. And, our whole freshman class, I kind of feel like, that talented of a group, they don't really stay in college 4 years anymore. So we were a rare breed, and we had a lot of talent. Danny Green, myself, in those kind of went 4 years. And then so, that moment was really good to me. But also the Danny Green, when he dunked on Paulus, posterized him, that one comes to my mind. I was right there. I had a front row. I was on the fast break. And then let's see, when else? For me, it would have been Bobby Frazier, my roommate in college, had a big night in Cameron. He kind of having a quiet year, and then all of a sudden explodes in Cameron. And then my top of the key three is something. Those are all kind of memories that jumped in my mind. My freshman year, the top of the key three.
The what you said too, like there's not many people that stay 4 years anymore, right? And during your time, there was people staying 4 years, and I think that's also what hyped up the rivalry a lot more as well, right? Because you kind of end up almost really do like hating each other even more because it's already set in place, and two, it's like really like fuck these guys, and now it's one and done. Like, do you agree with that?
100%. You look at JJ Redick; he stayed 4 years, and then you look at how he kind of evolved as a player, and then all of a sudden fans start to feel attached, and they start to become a leader, and so they represent Duke. For that little bit, I remember my freshman year when JJ came into the Dean Dome and lit us up. It was like he was kind of that trash talker that came and brought it, and he developed into that, and I think fans become attached to that. I would say Grayson stayed a good amount, and so fans start to pick out a player, and they're like, you saw all the debacle with Grayson, and now fans love to hate Grayson. And then you talk about Gerald Henderson, even though he didn't stay 4 years, what we went through in our incident, fans didn't like him.
We talked to Adam Morrison about that, like, briefly. He says, and I'm interested to see if you agree with it, was college basketball bigger back then? I know, obviously, like, it's more accessible now with the streaming services, but you talk about, like, guys, like, you were the identity of North Carolina. Scotty Reynolds was the identity of Villanova, like Greg Paulus, identity of Duke. Like, it's starting to see where it's a lot of turnover. Like, was it bigger back then?
Yeah, I would say so, for sure. You talk about, I'm thinking of all the kind of marquee players in college basketball that everyone kind of remembers that may not went on and had the professional career. But, yeah, you talk about, like, guys who, fans really grew attached to, and also you get to see development of players. Your freshman year compared to your senior year, you have guys so much development, and guys' bodies change and become more athletic. My thought at one point was like these mid-majors are becoming much more relevant because they get those guys that can stay for 4 years and they really develop them. And by the time they're a senior, they become a really good player. And the tournament has gotten much more unpredictable. like UCLA last year. They played the play-in game, then all of a sudden they're in the Final Four. But yeah, I do think that it's lost a little bit of its, its excitement, not seen as, the 4-year guys like we used to. But, everything is kind of evolved now. So we'll see where it goes.
And you bring up the Henderson incident. Obviously, I want to talk about that. I mean, I think you bled too much on your own. It's your fault. No, but seriously, what went in with that? Like, so you guys are up. I think you were up like 15 or something with like a couple, like 20 seconds left, and he just straight up elbowed you in the face.
It was one of those things. I was at the free throw line. The game was probably, I'm not sure if it was out of hand or what. It was, we probably were going to win that one. Odds were in our favor. I got my rebound off a free throw, and, I'm not sure if there was a timeout before. But to me, there comes a point where I'm not sure if this went on or not. This is speculation, but, sometimes when you have a huddle and you're down, no layups, no easy buckets, whatever it takes, blah, blah, blah. And, I think Duke does that. I mean, they're the team that does the player huddles and everyone's slapping and, all that stuff. So I could see him really buying into something like that. And he came out. It was a cheap shot. It was a cheap elbow right to my face. Dirty play, no other way to put it. And I remember when it happened, at first, I didn't really know what was going on, but I knew I was bleeding everywhere. And when I got up, I was going to go after, I think it was DeMarcus Nelson. And which would have been a mistake because obviously he didn't elbow me. But, later on I found out it was Gerald. And, I was pretty upset. I was pissed. And if you ask me, well, it was a dirty play. I mean, there's no way to put it. Me and Gerald talked about it. And, it's totally over. But at the same time, that was really dirty.
A Duke player with a dirty play? What?
They have spasms. They're fucking. Sometimes these doctors they don't get the right spots and they have spasms.
Grayson Allen just stretching his legs under the hoop all these times.
Leg spasm, elbow spasm.
What was Krzyzewski's take from that? Did he go to apologize for that? It's been a while, but like now, I guess it's kind of two-part because Krzyzewski now, anytime it feels like he's a bitter old man. Obviously, he's an all-time great, but anybody does something like the kid was clapping for who was at Georgia Tech a couple weeks ago, and he goes after him. Or which game? Either way.
Duke and Clemson, where he pushed them?
No. Well, he went after him then, but the kid was clapping and he was chasing him after. Yeah. Either way. Like Krzyzewski, if you do something wrong to Krzyzewski, he's very quick to enforce the law. I'm interested to see, like, did he own that one, or he was like kind of like a soccer mom, like, oh, not my kid?
So Krzyzewski, I saw you talking about the Clemson. You mentioned it, talking about the Clemson where one of his players got under. I mean, it was a dirty play. I mean, we all know dirty plays. Yeah. And I saw Kay walk out on the court, and for a little bit, I thought he was going to go over to the bench and say something to the coaching staff or whatever. And I was wondering, when I got drilled in my face, how he would have handled it if Coach Williams would have went down there on the other end and said something to their bench. But after the game, in the press conference, he said that the real victim was Gerald Henderson. And to me, in my mind, I mean, that was about as dumbest thing as you could say right there. And that was kind of like that pissed me off a lot more, to be honest with you. And I didn't think that was, I was pretty upset. I was a young kid too, just got my face bashed in. But that was messed up. But we're over that.
Did he ever personally rectify, like at an after-season awards dinner or at the Final Four, or he saw you at an NBA game? Like, did he ever say, hey, I fucked that up, or he just kind of was like hoping you would let it go?
Man, I don't think I would have been real receptive of an apology back then. That's not how I was. I wouldn't have been like, yeah, it's all good. No, I wouldn't have been like, all right, or something like that. Yeah. I wouldn't have. I'm not sure I would have accepted his apology.
I mean, you literally got the name Psycho T. I wouldn't apologize to him.
No, absolutely. But he said he's over it. It's interesting that he never really apologized. Like,
did you like that nickname?
I did, but man, off the court, man, I'm a pretty low key, kind of quiet dude. But I definitely had some interesting interactions with fans who would come and catch me on the street thinking I was crazy. But no, I mean, I like the name, but sometimes it was a little faded.
Like, I'm not actually a psycho. Like, he's a psychopath, like, actually, but you're not. Like, I could tell you're a normal human being, but yeah, that's but I think also, like, it kind of works with also, like, the aura of you in college basketball. It's just like everyone, if you know anything about college basketball, even though I hated you, like Tyler Hansbrough, it's like you. So I think the nickname kind of almost is cool for you for that reason. The personal life probably sucks.
No, I liked it. I liked it from the aspect that fans, they were attached to it and they liked it and caught on. No, I like that for sure. But, sometimes it gave people a false sense of who I really was, which, I didn't really care.
Just annoying a little bit, yeah.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
So we're in the beginning of March right now, ending the regular season. In 2009, when you guys won it all, you were on the road for a few weeks, right? All the way to the Final Four. I believe it was at Detroit, right?
Yeah, Detroit.
Yeah. So you're on the road for a while. What advice would you give to a player who's about to enter a lot of travel? A player who's going to play in the Final Four will be on the road for 3 weeks. How is that different? Because you obviously don't do that throughout the regular season.
For me, I would say the best advice you can get is stay within the team. I mean, it's you got 3 weeks to be committed to a goal that you've worked for a long period of time. So right now is not the time to be slipping or listening to outside voices. Stay committed to the game plan and be prepared. That's the best advice. I mean, you can't think about, I'm going to be on the road for 3 weeks, because then your mind starts buying into that you're going to be tired and stuff like that. You just got to go out there and get the job done.
The only outside voices they should listen to is this podcast, though, of course, previewing their game.
Exactly.
I was interested actually in that 09 run. I guess it's 2 parts. You guys breezed through the tournament. You were a favorite. Like even as a Duke fan, there was no doubt in my mind Carolina's winning it, right? So I guess 2 parts. Was that the most confident you've ever felt as a team? And secondly, who did you think, like, when you looked at the bracket or that season, like watching the scroll, watching game film, you're like, hey, they might be able to give us a run? Because there were 2 teams that year that I thought had a shot and didn't get there.
There was nobody. I mean, we could play at 90. Nobody was going to beat us. Yeah. There was no team out there that worried me one bit. The only thing that concerned me is if we just didn't show up and beat ourselves. I wasn't worried. In 09, after what we went through the year before, getting smacked by Kansas, we were winning that thing if we showed up. Who were those 2 teams?
Pitt and UConn. I was very good friends with Pitt's point guard, and I was kind of rooting to at least.
Relationships.
At least, I thought they could have given you a shot with DeJuan Blair. I was interested, but you were right. Like, you guys were head and shoulders above everybody. So the fact that you don't even have anybody on your radar speaks to how good that team was. It really does.
Well, Pittsburgh, they had DeJuan Blair, they had Sam Young that year. Then the point guard, I forgot his name.
Levance Fields.
Yeah, they were pretty talented. I was kind of surprised they didn't get to the Final Four, to be quite honest. And then UConn had A.J. Price, Hashim Thabit. I'm not sure who else, but they were pretty talented too. But I think I was actually shocked Michigan State got there to the finals. But being in Detroit, I think that helped them a lot. And kind of what Detroit was going through with the car whole thing, they were going to, save the car industry during that time. But we had played Detroit a few months prior and just smacked them in Detroit. So I wasn't too worried about them either.
We know the game is Saturday night. We know you're pulling for one team.
Wait, who won the last one? I didn't know the last one.
Be realistic with us. Do you guys have a real shot to pull it off on Saturday?
Yeah, we can win. I mean, we're a much different team now than we were when we played them in the Smith Center. And I think when you get smacked like we did in the Smith Center, I think kids start to, work harder and refocus. I hope that's what we're doing. But, I don't think Duke's unbeatable. But, I mean, they definitely, if you ask me who's more talented, I would say Duke. But I don't think they're capable of just rolling in there and not being beat.
Makes a great point. What I was going to say, I think that I'm going to tell you this right now. If UNC, even loses by less than 10 or wins, I will buy a Tyler Hansbrough UNC jersey and wear it. But if Duke wins by more than 10, you got to at least just tweet out, be like, Marty Mush was right about Duke.
That's a deal.
All right.
I'll do that.
Deal.
Deal.
We got that then.
So the spread is 10.
So the spread is 10.
It probably will be around. It'll probably be like 12.
I don't know. I don't
At
know.
Duke last game.
I don't know, but we're going with 10, and
right.
that's all. That's the bet.
All right.
That will kill me to wear that damn thing.
When do you have to wear it?
I'll order it right after the game, whenever I get it.
ACC tournament or something?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Tyler, we really appreciate the time. Final score prediction Saturday, quickly.
Ooh, let's go 78 to I'll go 73 UNC.
I'm gonna throw up.
There it is. Marty will be wearing
can't
your
get hot from
jersey if that happens. Tyler Hansbrough, national champion, former Tar Heel. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it, and we'll be in touch.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Y'all
Thanks
take
a
care.
lot.
All right, that was Tyler Hansbrough. Perfect time to have him on before Duke, North Carolina. Marty, I feel like you're still a little bit salty that he went 4-0 at Cameron.
I am. First, I just want to shout out his podcast. It's called Sleephawk Worldwide. He talked about UNC-Duke preview on his own podcast, so go check that out. I'm going to listen to it as well tonight, and I'm sure it's fantastic because he's a legend of the game. Fuck him. I told him to his face, fuck him. I mean, he won 6 games against Duke in his career, which is unheard of. But, I mean, him talking about the bloody nose and Coach K, which he said in the interview that Coach K never apologized. Said that he basically was on Henderson's side when elbowing him in the face. And he was like, I feel bad for Henderson because
He said he's the victim.
He's the victim. And Rico over here is like, well, Coach K's a scum. But like, so let me ask you something. You want fucking Coach K to not be behind his guy?
I mean, to an extent. Like
His name is Psycho
Yeah,
T. You want me to go up to Psycho T being like, hey, did you apologize right away when you threw a high noon can?
You're really you're playing with the line here. It seems.
What do you mean?
I don't know. There's just a lot. Like there's been a lot of events where he's definitely the judge and jury.
I agree with that. He goes to the locker room being like, I'm sorry for this or whatever. I understand what you mean by that. And this is also, 2000 and...
Riggs will know. Off the top of his head.
6 or
Riggs,
7.
what was the game a couple of weeks ago when it was wasn't it Alvarado of Georgia Tech who was like clapping and Krzyzewski like chases after him? He's pointing at the ref like, go get him. It was Georgia Tech.
No, Alvarado's at Georgia Tech last year. He graduated. He's in the NBA now. That was it was Georgia Tech, but it was
Georgia Tech. All right, yeah, all right.
It was Georgia
So I had it
Tech.
right.
It wasn't
All right.
Alvarado though.
Yeah, got
it was
it,
Georgia
but-
Tech.
Fuck Alvarado. He was ridiculous.
I just think
Michael
yeah.
DeVoe.
DeVoe, that's who it was. Yeah.
But yeah, he goes over. I understand that. But, I mean, also, I don't
Also, to
want-
never like, he still never really rectified it with.
Good. I wouldn't either. It's a huge moment in college basketball. I don't want to I like that Tyler Hansbrough doesn't fuck with Coach K and Coach K doesn't fuck with him.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And I love that. It's this is what makes college basketball. Hate other rivals. Like I don't.
Bro, he also
the respect fine. Hate them though. Like don't be friends. That's what makes college basketball so fucking good.
he also said like it doesn't matter now. Like I understand. Like whatever. He definitely cares. I like the guy.
Of
He
course
cares,
he
and I
does.
love that about him. He's Psycho T for a reason, but he was a great interview. And
Yeah.
Duke UNC is one of the best. I can't say the word lately. Rivalry. I can't.
There you
That
go.
L fucks me every time. I was in the interview. I was like rivalry.
It's hard not to throw that R in before the L.
Yeah.
I also want to quickly get something off my chest. I opened the interview trying to sound smart, saying it was on the heels of Duke, North Carolina. I totally disregarded the meaning of that phrase. It's on the heels of, it's afterwards. So I was trying to play the pun of North Carolina Tar Heels on the heels, so apologies for that. But let's get to our bonus interview. It's the Storm Chasers, Rone and Caleb and the rest of their crew, transporting from TCU to Mississippi State. Again, this is airing after the Mississippi State-Auburn game, so hopefully they got a chance to storm again. But here they are, the Storm Chasers down in the South. All right, we want to welcome on a handful of special guests on the road right now. It is the Storm Chasers. It's Rone. It's Caleb. I see Donnie is, who else is there? Tom? Trey? Like everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The whole squad's here. Hey, listen, can you hear this?
Honking the horn. Going from TCU, another court storm over Kansas. Can we say where you're going next first? I guess it'll air, but.
Yeah, we're on our way to Mississippi State right now. We got a big one in Mississippi State. You guys know that Auburn's been on the schneid a little bit as of late, so we're going to try to catch one at Mississippi State. But before we even go any further, I wanted to say that a huge thank you to Jake, who helped out a bunch as far as schedule and everything. And the Storm Chasers, the whole journey couldn't have happened without the boys over at Bench Mob.
Oh, very nice. Very
Thank
nice
you.
of you, Rone.
Thanks.
I mean, I'm gonna fucking kill you, Rico. But so the I
I
want
want to say something too. I want to say something too. I wanted to give a personal shout out to Rico, just for being an overall supportive of both Rone and I throughout the years, really, and being a good guy and a guy who is really an intelligent guy, but is as good looking as he is intelligent in my book.
Thanks. Almost makes up for this setup in West Virginia.
Well, it's good to hear that we're on the right track.
Exactly.
I wanted to compare for a second because one, what you guys do is it's a lot because I stormed the court for the first time last night, and let me tell you, it's fucking exhausting. It is hard to keep your ground. To create that circle is also pretty tough too.
Listen, Caleb and I both thought we were going to have heart attacks last night, independently. We didn't tell each other because it was that traumatic of an experience. But there was a chance we might have both dropped dead out there. And Marty, I'm sure you felt the same thing, jumping up and down in a crowd like that. Me and Robin hanging out so much, it's like when girls get their periods at the same time, except we were going to die of heart attack.
Bro, I felt the same way because, like, I was bodying people out and then, like, I lost everybody and I felt so lonely in such a big crowd. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know how am I going to find them? How am I going to get my way out of here? And I had body paint on, so I'm sweating the body paint off. And it was very hard to, and you also jump for like 20 minutes. It's not very quick, the storm.
Screaming too. You're just screaming, which is just terrible for the heart, for the blood pressure. You're just putting as much pressure on your body from every angle. But it's worth it when you catch some history like that.
Yeah, I mean, Big Cat in the middle of it literally was just looked at Jake and I and just went, I need 30. I can't keep doing this.
Yeah, we made the mistake of like shoving hot dogs and like quesadillas into our mouths beforehand. I'll give you a little inside breaking information. During the first storm that we had out in Colorado, Chef Donnie shit himself.
Donnie, did you have backup underwear?
Oh, I had the one pair, so it was wrong.
What kind of was it like a Hershey squirt or solid?
No, it was a little squirt. It was from the dog. Luckily, we went to Target and got all new clothes. We went to Target.
That's huge. But that's what comes with this territory. It's hard. It's hard work. People think you just go to the game and you just storm the court. No, it takes a lot to do.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. We're all gonna we can't do it for too much longer. We're hoping for one at Mississippi State tonight. I'm curious what you guys think about our chances, though. Mississippi State's a decent program. They're in a nice spot at home, where I think they have a 75% winning percentage up here at home. So, what do you guys think our chances are of catching one tonight?
When you first look at the line, it screams Mississippi State. It's -3.5 Auburn, which is like crazy because they should beat them up because they've also been a little bad. But yeah, I think you have a great chance tonight.
Yeah. Also, Mississippi State, I believe I saw they're like in the next 4 out right now. So if they win this game, they'll have an opportunity to go on and run in the SEC tournament and have a chance at making the big dance. Plus, with you guys in the house, I saw in your vlog earlier this week, Caleb says you guys are good for 8 points, right?
7.5 to 8.
Yeah, that was my question. Westy doesn't like to leave himself vulnerable for the risk. Do you guys have to tell Westy where you're going in advance so we can adjust the lines? We can't be giving out Mississippi State at like plus 500.
Rico, the line was creeping the line was creeping up to 4. I saw it was going the other direction right as we announced it, before we announced. So I thought that we'd have some kind of influence on it. I'm a little bit
You guys are breaking up a little bit, but to end it, it seemed like, so you stormed the court, and then what, you're just fucking you're the head coach at TCU after in the locker room?
I gave a speech to the team afterwards.
Get the fuck out of here.
We're going to be putting it out later on, but I was like, no one's had more heart than you guys. You can beat any team in the country now, boys. And to their credit, like, they could have just been like, who the fuck is this guy? But they picked it up a little bit.
They could have been like, hey, what's my name? I don't give a fuck. You have a lot of heart, all right?
Exactly. And I told him, like, of all the teams we've seen play this year, they have more heart. We went to one other game. We only went to one other game.
That's what I was going to say. Like, did you know who Jamie Dixon was before last night?
No, I know. I was a big Pitt fan.
Okay.
My buddy Kevin Funston used to be a manager on Pitt's team, and now he's in Jamie Dixon's coaching tree. So I'm a big Jamie Dixon fan already. But he showed us a little bit of love. It was just TCU rolled out the red carpet in a very nice way.
That's great. Well, keep it up. Let us know. We'll keep us updated tonight, Mississippi State.
Yeah, this will air after the game, so hopefully you guys storm again.
Yeah, 100%.
We're also going to Starkville. We're going to go to the Brandon Walker Smoking Lounge. We're going to try and change the name of it to the Caitlin Walker Smoking Lounge. Don't tell Brandon though, please.
No problem.
We won't.
You have our word. All right, well, that is the Storm Chasers, Rone, Caleb, Donnie, Trey, and Tom Mullins. Guys, good luck the rest of the way, and we'll see you back up here in a few days.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having us on.
All right, we're back. Late night, Wednesday, March 2nd. First off, thank you to everybody who watched the premiere of Barstool Bracket Buzz exclusively on Sling. And if you watched that show, we had a bracket segment. In that bracket segment, there were a couple of Big Ten teams. I had Indiana in the last four in. I had Rutgers in the first four out. Those two teams clashed at Assembly Hall. And what could have been a loser leaves town game, I know that's a part of my take thing, but I like the phrase, so I'm going to bring it over here for a sec.
I mean, that's a
Rutgers.
my take phrase. That's a worldwide phrase.
It's a
live in
wrestling
some
phase,
world,
yeah.
buddy.
It's a WWF.
I hear loser leaves town, I think part of my take.
Loser leaves town. That's just pardon my take.
I think it's part of my take. I'm sorry. I got to stay loyal. Anyways, recurring guest of the show, Ron Harper Jr., the hero once again, hits one with a second or two left, 66-63. Question. We'll go one-word answer each of the three of you. Assuming Indiana doesn't win the tournament, Big Ten tournament, are they done? Reeks, yes or no?
Yeah, cooked.
Marty.
No.
Rico.
I think if the bracket lines up and they beat like Purdue and then Illinois and get to the final, they have life, but they're on life support.
They're on life support, but I do think that they can't be completely dead because of the Big Ten is so good.
I think they could get to the final. They can get you can win 3 games in that league that are like huge quad one wins, but they're on life support.
What about this team gets you excited?
It doesn't. I mean, probably because I went there for a game, and it's just, but like you realize how inconsistent they are. I mean, like Trace can't do everything.
That's it in basketball, though. They've been inconsistent since 1987.
Yeah, and this because they got a new coach, an NBA coach. So like, oh, we're back, and it's like they've been okay. They haven't been in the. They are done right now, but the off chance of them rattling some off in the Big Ten conference, they have a chance.
How much do you think they want that win at Wisconsin at Christmas or at home? I forget where
December
it
8th.
was. Like it's
In Madison, they were down by a score of 42-20 with a minute left in the first half, and they blew it.
Yep.
I mean, that's the difference,
Riggs, you
right?
said,
they win that game
without a doubt. That
it
changes. They only have to win. They only have to get to the semis, I think, in the Big Ten to make it either way. This game would have hurt them, but I think they're whatever. It changes it up. Riggs, you said they've been irrelevant. I mean, I'll still say it. It's because the guy who should be coaching them is sitting in an office in Boston somewhere.
I mean, why does he want that job?
I'm just saying.
No,
Why would Stevens want that job?
No, he doesn't want it.
Right. Why would he want that job? Why would he want that job? Besides,
no, but they want him. Like that's the guy who could fix it. I granted he's not going to take it, but I think he was the one who could have fixed it all. Like they're in a Woodson's all right. I don't know if he's the guy. They're just going to keep it's wash and repeat.
I mean,
Like,
you got to
the
also
program
give
is in
Woodson,
serious
you gotta give
trouble.
Woodson a chance. Like
Yeah, right. I want to see what he does with like recruiting. And,
he also like got
that
Trace
shit.
Jackson Davis to stay.
Yeah.
Like it's you got to give him a second. Like I don't know, you can't completely judge him because almost like in honesty, which is sad for Indiana, this is like a pretty good season, like an okay season for them because they haven't been fucking relevant and they've been a little relevant this year.
Yeah, they're at least on the bubble, right? They haven't made a tournament in 6 years.
That's what I'm saying.
6 years, like Indiana,
That's kind of a good season for them.
This
which is
de-
crazy. We
It's
listen to Indiana as a
decent
blue
year
blood.
It's a decent year one, without a doubt.
Here's my question for you guys, because I wrote a blog and I think this is the best sound in sports. Ron Harper Jr. hits that shot. Assembly Hall goes fucking dead quiet.
Yeah.
That's the best sound in sports, right? That's better than the cheer of at home hitting it.
It is actually because like even when Jaden Ivey like hit the three at Wisconsin and everyone went silent, it was like holy fuck. Like that's just so much cooler. Like obviously it's awesome to hit the three at home, but it's like to shut up a whole crowd of like
Loved it.
15,000 is insane.
And what a celebration too. He bows at the crowd. He does a little big balls dance. Like
Yep.
that's what I want. That's all I want. I want in March, like any player listening to Ron Harper, when you're listening to this, you hit a buzzer beater in the Big Ten tournament, NCAA tournament. I want you bowing to every camera angle you see.
Going back to Hansbrough, like think about this. Who are the most hated people in college basketball right now? Probably Brad Davison.
Brad Davison.
Like people don't like Bohannon, but like
Coach K.
If we're just talking players,
Likes
right?
you fuck.
I hate Coach K. Coach K is number one on the list.
Yeah,
Demanding they go
Cal's
play in
such a good
Chicago.
guy, scumbag.
Yeah, this non-retirement tour, but he wants to go to Chicago because it's his hometown.
What do you mean? He's fucking. It's not a non-retirement tour. He just said I'm doing one season. No one had to give him gifts. But the thing is, like, it's crazy because you can't be a villain as a freshman. Like, you just can't. Like, and like the way Grayson Allen became a villain, he was really good the Final Four of his freshman year, and then he stayed for 4 years. Brad Davison's on his 6th year. Bohannon's on his 6th year. Like these people who are around for a while is where you get the hatred, which hopefully the NIL will keep some people around longer to get the more hatred. Like Ron Harper Jr. has been around a little bit now, where it's like, let's maybe some of these guys aren't going to pan out for NBA, but we can get college basketball back to hatred.
Yeah, like those second round picks, right? Where it's like I'm always going to be a second round pick. Let me just I love college.
Guys too.
Yeah, let me just enjoy college for one more year and then I'll go be a pro. Like barring like a horrific thing going anywhere.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
I like that question. I'm trying to think what other players are hated in college basketball right now.
There's not many because they're all elite.
I'll tell you what,
it's
the West Coast, but I feel like Kerr Carissa, if he was on
Yes.
ACC team,
I love him though.
people would hate him a lot more. I think he gets away with it because of when they play.
I love
sure
him.
They for sure do.
Timmy's probably up there, right? I feel like Timmy's kind of hated with the Fu Manchu, then the way they lost to Baylor.
Yeah, a little bit, but like it's not like a fucking.
It's not.
It's not like a Grayson Allen where it was like worldwide. Like when that guy played, everyone watched. It's like when Jake Paul fights, people want to fucking see him get knocked out. But it's like Grayson Allen, is he gonna trip someone? Is he gonna try and fight someone? Like that's just what it is. Do you have anything, Rico?
I think there's a lot of guys that like you hate because they're not on your team, but they're not trying to be bad boys. I would hate Gillespie, but he's not a bad. You know what I mean? Like I think
that's the thing. Yeah,
there's guys you kind of like Chip, but he didn't say boo, so it annoyed you even more. You know, like so. I guess you just hate that they're not on your team. I don't think there's a lot of guys trying to be bad boys, which is interesting.
But I mean, yeah, dude, like that I don't understand what you mean. Like they'd rather him on your team, but yeah, like Gillespie plays the game and he's a robot almost. Like he's kind of just whatever.
Doesn't show a lot of emotion.
No, it's like
not
even
at all.
thinking like the the Providence game at Providence where he just hit all those fucking dagger threes, and it's just like, this is what I do. Like, what else?
Yeah, which is like
what am I supposed to do?
completely fine too. Like, I like Brad Davison screams at the like he just gets involved and like he's screaming at the student section. He's going insane. That's why people hate him and he always tries to take a charge. Guys who always try and take a charge, people fucking hate. But there isn't many because everyone's leaving. Like, why would you want to be hated? Like, imagine Paolo was just like a dickhead and he's the second, like, he's just not going to go over second over pick. I'd like if he was, but.
Or like Jabari Smith. Jabari Smith, like, I feel like out of the three big names come like right now, Chet, Jabari, Powell, like Chet's the one that's kind of an asshole on the court, right? Like he like even tweets about it a little bit, but like it is weird. Like you think about it, like the faces of college basketball, that like you're right there. It's like a lack of like true asshole hatred guys, and like the biggest asshole is probably Kirk Reese, and I love him.
A lot of it's media awareness too. Like, don't, like you don't want to be an asshole. That's going to hurt your shoe deal. That's going to hurt your mark. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think I think that hurt. Like, I think brand safety with that is almost like if you're an okay player, like a pretty good player, but you're not going to be this star. Like, I understand why Jabari Smith is just like, hey, I'm going to get millions of dollars soon. Let's relax. But if you're going to be a 4-year guy who's like good, but you might as well fucking ramp it up because people also like really not the most like players get brand deals as well. You know what I mean?
Well, like Davison, there's nobody that's indifferent on Brad Davison. He's a fine player, right? Like he's not an All-American. He's a fine player. The people hate Brad Davison. People like Brad Davison. There's no in between. You either cheer for him or you hate him.
Yeah.
So I think there's value to that.
Yeah, I think that was a good debate.
Chet real fast. Against, I want someone to check this maybe for me, but I'm pretty sure I saw against ranked teams, he averages 9 points a game.
Possible.
I mean, what?
It's possible. He would have gone up against either
most of it was early.
Keels, Paolo, and Bediako for Alabama.
And then Texas Tech's entire defense.
Right. And then
against
UCLA, Texas has some big guys that are
2 points. Against UCLA, 15 points.
He was good
against
UCLA.
Duke. He had 16, so he showed out in those two, and then Bama was 10. So no, I mean, you could still be right, Barney. I'm just looking at these non-conference games. He had double figures in a lot of them.
And then but it's just not. I don't know. It's something to think for the tournament where if it gets to him, that's why Gonzaga has these problems. But yeah, I mean, Rico just brought it up. Dude, Alabama sucks. I don't really know what to say. At home against fucking
A&M.
You can't even A&M, bro. They're the worst road team in the SEC.
Yeah, it's the same thing every night. I mean, it's the turnovers, it's the defense. I don't know. It's desperation. Like, but I guess the only saving grace is like they're one of 4 teams, Memphis, Michigan, and Oregon, who just kind of like couldn't figure it out, So goes to show what kind of year it is, because teams like Wisconsin came out of nowhere. Like you're gonna get that ebb and flow. So,
well, the thing is, Alabama isn't one of those teams like that was always good. They've been good for a year and a half.
Yeah, but this year they definitely had top 10 talent.
Talent? Yeah, they did have top 10 talent. It was just Davison ended up not being as impactful as people thought. Keon Ellis was whatever. Like Quinterly just stayed flat. People were talking about Quinterly as like preseason potential National Player of the Year, All-American type guy.
Right? Yeah, they've underperformed. So I mean,
but they've shown signs of overperforming.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like that's where they're at. Like, do I think they're going to win a national title? At this point, I think it's too much of an uphill climb. You're
still thinking about it?
No, I'm just saying. Do I still think that in the second weekend, as a 6 or a 7, somebody's going to be like, "Fuck, this is a tough matchup"? Yeah, and that's kind of how everybody is. Like, I don't think Memphis can win a national title. But I think Memphis is a tough second round matchup. You know what I mean? Like that's just where we're
I
at.
don't agree with the Memphis, but I do agree with Alabama.
I want Alabama Duke so bad as a 7-2 matchup.
I'm good.
For
That
that
would be
reason, exactly.
incredible.
But that's what I'm saying, where it's like, I understand what you mean. I don't think Alabama's good, honestly. They're too inconsistent. I know they can turn it up and really win, but you can't. You're gonna have to turn it up 6 times, and they can't even turn it up.
Yeah,
2
that's the
times.
point where it's right. It's definitely
But
way more of an uphill battle.
that is a team that I know I don't want to play as a 2 seed in the second round.
Right.
Yeah, when your season goes down to one game, and that's the one game that Alabama figures out for 40 minutes.
Without a doubt. And then as
we've
we've seen in the tournament, like with Rutgers last year, Rutgers has Houston on the ropes. Rutgers wins, they're wearing white. The rest of that region, like regions blow.
You love saying that. It's so funny. Higher seed wears
Every
white.
single time. He loves that.
You're right, but I'm saying.
I know you're probably right. It's probably a cliche line. I got to get away from those. Clearly,
Everyone just make sure Rico's sulking still. So just I see him on Twitter being like, "What did you see him on Twitter? Fucking
The Rutgers Viceroy.
tweeting the Rutgers Viceroy being like, let's read his tweet real fast."
I got it. So after Rutgers beats Indiana, the Rutgers Viceroy tweets at us, "Hope we made up for Saturday," and tagged us. Rico responds, "Great win. Sadly, we'll never be able to erase the most embarrassing moment in company history, but we survive in advance." In parentheses, or is that too planned of a line? I'll let the eggs in the comments decide. Look forward to it.
Like you actually are. That world of yours must be insane up there. It's insane. You really like. It's not that bad what happened to us. We've had worse things said about us by far.
forgot
We're
to tell
gonna
you,
be okay.
you guys still
during
got that.
blogger school, my
Yeah, still
pipes
got
in my
that.
old house burst. Have that day. Get roasted by Dave and Marco, then your pipes burst.
Yeah.
That happened to me.
You guys still have desks.
I don't have a desk. Well, I have
You
my own,
have a
but-
desk.
Rico, the desk thing is so freaking annoying. Like, what are we doing
You have
here?
2 desks. You have the boss's office, you selfish prick, and you have a desk right next to me that Hank is moving upstairs because it's too loud by us.
Negative environment.
It's not a negative environment. You're being a pussy.
I'll be in next week for Dave's office. We'll see where that goes.
If you're not, are you in tomorrow?
No,
Why?
I don't have a desk. I'm not coming in.
Rico,
Dude,
come
you know
on.
you're fucking me over, right? Like with our other show? Like
You're
that's
screwing
fucking
all
me
of
over.
us.
Who do we have
over.
tomorrow? What did we do
Yeah.
with you? We taped. We're good. We just got to promote it. Who do we
Yeah,
have tomorrow?
We have a country guy that I need. Like this is our
I
show.
don't know country. I don't listen to car. I can zoom
Doesn't
in.
matter. It's our fucking show.
I'll
You're
zoom
being
in.
selfish. You are.
I'll
a
zoom
selfish
in.
prick. No, I don't want you to zoom in. You're being selfish.
All right, I'll let you know. It's a side
No.
topic.
Go at it again. First time I've ever called you that to your face, but you deserve it right now. I'm sorry. You're being very
Yeah, Jake.
Miko-ish to us.
You got Jake very upset, and I don't like this. This is like
It's not right. This is where the team chemistry has to be the best in March, and we're dealing with this bullshit on the second day of March. It is a waste of our time. We should be talking about games right now. Some conference tournaments have already started, and we're talking about musical chairs in the fucking
All right,
office.
all right.
Come on, Rico, please, for us.
Marty brought it up. All right, let's go.
Marty brought up because you're sulking over there.
We're a team. We need you. We love having you on the show, but if you're going to be on the show like this, it's not productive.
It literally is like you really are a disappointed dad, Jake. It's like you make me feel worse about it.
No, Marty, you know what this
You're
is?
Yelling at it's like, oh my god, I'm going to be on my best behavior. I'm sorry, Dad.
Marty, you know what this is? I'm over your house as friends, and your parents are fighting.
We're just sitting in a corner like, hey, want to go play Xbox or something?
Yeah, like, am I still allowed to sleep over and watch a PG-13 movie?
And Rico's still not a smirk on his fucking face over here.
I mean, I'm sorry, Rico, to do you like that, but
All right, well, what?
it's really frustrating.
Speak.
For all of
Day
us.
to day, we don't have to. Like, what are you? There's nothing to do day to day tomorrow.
Dude,
What do
you
you
have
mean?
a show with me.
Jake saying I'm like if I'm not in tomorrow with Jake, it doesn't affect you.
I'm saying this whole week. It's been a
That came in
pain.
when we had to record.
What
All right,
about
let's go.
me?
Price of doing business. What's the
He has
next?
no,
I don't
he has
like,
no
who are you to
problem
say
I
that?
don't.
Like,
screwing you over.
you actually, honestly, do not feel bad. Like, do you actually?
I
Not care?
definitely feel bad, but it's not productive to go in. Like I'm at a point where it only fucks you up. So, what's the next game?
I don't.
mean,
even fucking-
I don't like where we're at right now. I really
All
don't.
right.
But
So
we'll
you
move
guys finish
we'll
it
move
out.
forward.
You finish it up.
We'll
Yeah,
move
we-
forward. We would love for you to stay on if the vibe changes. All right. Let's go to the SEC. The Muss Bus is unreal. They've won 14 out of 15. They beat LSU in an incredible game. Now, the question I have is the sling gone or was it only gone in the post-game celebration?
With Muss, who knows? Like, that man could have got shot up like Varsity Blues style before the game for all we know, right? Like, he's just a lunatic with his personality. And, like, I mean it as a compliment. We obviously love Muss. It was weird. I was like, even the announcers were like, he's a one-arm bandit. I was like, he does have a sling. I was worrying for his health.
Was there a travel?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Must is great and all. Sure, I love Must. Love all.
LSU's stupid as shit.
The
Weird
weird
travel.
the only weird rule, and obviously nobody cares about rules, Riggs, but you can leave your pivot foot to pass or shoot. So there's a weird spot where it looks like when he left, did he get hit before he came back down? Like you have
No.
to. You think he came back down for
Yeah,
sure?
well, yeah. Because then they trapped. They came from the backside. Both feet were off the air, came back down. It was a travel, and then LSU was dumb. Like you had him
Both
trapped.
feet
Just
were
stand there.
both feet were in the air when he left the floor facing the bench. No, when are you saying both? That's what I'm saying.
He
Like,
had the
left both
ball, 1 foot up, took another foot up, so both feet were off the ground at the same time, came back down. They missed the travel, called the foul immediately. Like LSU did foul him, but they missed the travel.
feet. Yeah, I watched it like 8 or 9 times. It's definitely it's dicey, but I would have gone with a walk. You're right. They probably got away with one, but
I want to
that's kind of where it's at.
make it known that on January 22nd, LSU was ranked
12th.
on January 26th, they were ranked 19th. I'm sorry, January 29th. 19th in the country. And they
I think
just
they got up to
have,
12 at one point.
they were at 12 before that. Yeah, then they went to
Okay.
19. And then they have been abysmal.
Yeah,
They've
they're
lost
bad.
to Ole Miss, Vanderbilt, South Carolina, obviously Kentucky. Sorry,
But
Jake.
Kentucky without the backcourt.
Yeah,
like, they
and
couldn't
lost
even
to
beat Kentucky with
Arkansas.
injury.
And now they have Alabama. Like it is brutal right now for them. 20-10, like they're gonna make the tournament, but they're another team where it's like
7 seed, 8 seed.
scarier 7 or 8 seed.
It's just, they're just dumb. Like they foul so much. But it's like the way they played the defense too. But I
They
never
have to
feel
close
bad
that
for
game out.
LSU.
They have to close that game out easily.
Yeah. I just don't feel bad. Like they had some bad calls against them. I don't feel bad. Like they shoot themselves in the foot so many times.
Yeah.
They're a team I worry about because of the veteran presence. Obviously, Pinson was out for a while. He's one of 2 seniors who got serious playing time in the tournament. I just don't. It's cliche. I don't trust teams that don't have tournament experience, and I feel like that's a cop out. But I don't know. It's just how I feel.
But even like Pinson, like you saw today, he picked up that he was really good. Picked up a early 3rd foul in the second half. Comes back in, plays well. Picks up a cheap, dumb 4th foul, and like had to go back out. And it's just like, how can you trust a team that does shit like that?
This next on Saturday is a big gambling day for senior days.
I'll tell you what. You almost had a very, very, very puckered butthole for this coming Saturday with your Auburn bet.
Yeah. I mean, so now do I win if there's a shared one? Like they should win. They should
Think
fucking
so.
beat South Carolina at home. But still, if I lost that one, dude, oh my.
Because if
Yeah.
if Auburn would have lost to Mississippi State, and they probably should have, but Ben Howland sucks.
It's the worst. Well, what are you holding, Marty?
7-1 SEC.
Yeah, 7-1 SEC Auburn.
What do we think South Carolina's money line is going to be?
It would be a lot.
High. Like what you're saying, I throw a little flyer on it.
Just one on like 100 on that, and you pay it out.
They won 5-6, a little hot right
even
now.
if the money line's like 350,
So
you're guaranteed. Like you're now going 6-1 against 3.5.
Yeah, you're right.
Because why? I don't know. I don't understand the shared equation starts to get weird. They're probably going to split the odds, and you'll probably still win. But this way, you kind of don't. You're giving yourself the maximum profit. You know what I mean?
I'm a big,
Auburn will be favored. Auburn will be favored by like 15. It looks like.
Yeah, that's an insane money line.
I'm a big. You just gotta let it ride. You wait all season, and I know you're right. It's probably a smart.
You just
thing to
can't
do,
lose.
but-
Yeah.
For Auburn, I know they won this game. I still have a little concern about them. I'm interested to hear your guys' take. I know, especially you, Marty, because you have them to win the SEC. But long term, in terms of winning the championship, okay, Auburn has gone back and forth. They've gone win-loss, win-loss, win their last 5. This is not the same feel I have right now as the Auburn we saw that started 22-1.
No, they peaked a little too fast. I think they're still a really good team, but you see there's a lot more holes in. They're very beatable at this moment. I mean, again, on the road is still good win. Whatever they should have lost, but I'm a little nervous more. They were looked unstoppable at one point where it's like, holy shit, this team is for real. Still think they're for real, like they could win the national championship, but I don't think they were prepared to get everyone's best shot this year every single game.
That I think their home course is so insane. Like they are just such a different team at home, and credit to like their fans, but who are lunatics for doing it. But you can tell like what they are at home is just so different than road. And I really think it's just the environment.
Is their resume inflated?
No.
So they showed the reason I'm asking is because they showed this graphic tonight, and I was like, that's not really that impressive. Murray State in the non-conference, LSU, Bama twice, and Kentucky.
Loyola in the non-conference. And
I don't really consider that elite. Like Morehead State's respectable, but like they lost to Connecticut in their biggest non-conference game other than who did they get in the Big 12 challenge? Oklahoma. So they got like a freebie on Oklahoma. Yeah. So at what point where they're 2 of their best wins, if you guys are saying Bama stinks, 2 of their best 4 wins are Alabama.
Yeah, but it's like a double over, like their UConn lost with double overtime.
I got it, but
floor.
The 4 wins really don't stack up that impressively. You know, like I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
It's worth considering.
No, it is. It's not a bad point, but it's also like, they're 26-4 in the SEC
without a doubt.
Second best conference, and who I'm trying to look right. Like they beat LSU when they were hot by 15. Like Alabama on the road is like, I know they kind of do suck, but that's on the road. Kentucky,
a road rivalry win matters.
Yeah, I mean they got Kentucky at home. I'm just saying, like when that's the graphic they're showing. Hey, here are their 4 most impressive wins: LSU before around Christmas, Kentucky at home, and Bama twice. It's like, all right, maybe we start to take a look at this again. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I know what you mean.
I mean, it's fair, but I also think that's why, like I saw on the Barstool Sportsbook, where I blogged it and it was on Twitter with the seed over under, they were plus money for a 1 seed. I think that kind of showed what like the Barstool Sportsbook thinks of it too.
Yeah. I think those
plus money for a 1 seed.
Those new props, by the way, Riggs, you blogged it, are really cool. Go check out the Barstool Sportsbook. It's basically live betting on the selection show, which we will be doing once again. More details to come, but you can bet the over/under of seeds, right? A team seed.
Yes, team seeds over/under. Like for instance, like Baylor, Kansas, and Auburn were all over/under 1.5, and all 3 were plus money on to be a 1 seed because someone can't be a 1 seed.
Right. Yeah, those are cool. All right, working backwards a little bit here. Back from the dead, the Michigan Wolverines smoking Michigan State. This was the makeup game, by the way, of our we can say disastrous trip to Ann Arbor in January.
I didn't think about that.
So Hunter Dickinson, 33 points, 9 rebounds. Rico, they're wearing those throwbacks that you love with the big M.
I do like those. They look similar to those, but I do like those. Glenn Rice.
Yeah.
I always associate with that.
So Michigan fully not a lock yet, but percentage wise, we can go down the list again. Reeds for in or out.
In.
I think if they beat Iowa, I'm putting them in, and they obviously, I think they got to sweep the next two. I really
So
do.
yeah, they actually, it's weird. I assume this is another COVID game because they actually play tonight as well. So they have Iowa and Ohio State, both obviously tournament teams. If they split and avoid like a Nebraska or Northwestern loss next week, so if they play one of those teams, I think they're in.
Yeah,
which is
that sounds
amazing.
right.
Because look, they came in with what? The number 1 recruiting class, my pick to win it all, which weirdly still has a heartbeat somehow, some way. But yeah, and then on conference, this team was awful. Their best win was San Diego State, which is pretty much the only team their only win.
Smoked by Arizona, smoked by UNC.
Yeah. And even in the conference until mid-February, Purdue, Iowa, Rutgers, Michigan State is their last 4 wins. Before that, maybe Indiana is their only tournament win. So I don't know. They're 16-12, but 10-8 in the Big Ten is probably good enough right now.
Did you see Hunter Dickinson's tweet after the game? It'll probably piss off Rico because it was January, February, Martelli.
Yeah, I text him. I said he's gonna hang a banner when he goes 5-0, and he just started laughing. Like, that's Martelli. I mean,
Dickinson. You know what? Dickinson's another guy.
Listen, Dickinson's got his back. Like, you can't fault the kid for having his back, but like Martelli, he ran an outdated offense for 20 years. You know, he's respected in the basketball community. I just kind of always thought he never was elite. So that's where I'm.
No, it's just funny that he tweets that. I love it. Mark Dickinson's probably on the list, especially in Big Ten world, of hated players, right? Unless you're a Michigan fan or a fan of Dickinson.
He's getting there, but still, like, he's just vocal on the court, you know.
Yeah, he pissed off Izzo during the game. Like, you could see, like, he was talking to the bench, and Izzo, like, apparently, he even had the comment afterwards. Dickinson did, where he's like, "Yeah, when they beat us, Izzo mentioned how great it was. He had nothing to say today." It's like, I love that.
How about the Big Ten quarters? The way they're lined up. Ready? Wisconsin, Michigan State, Illinois, Michigan, Purdue, Rutgers, Iowa, Ohio State.
That last game's a crapshoot.
Yeah, but those quarters are fucking great. That's like the old Big East.
Friday, right? That's Friday?
Yeah, the Big Ten's always late.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Big East, bro, one of the biggest downfalls I've ever seen in a long time is Xavier, who was ranked 25th about a week ago, and they're 1-6 in their last 7. Like, they lost to DePaul, lost to Seton Hall, they beat UConn, and then lost to St. John's, UConn, Providence, Seton Hall, St. John's. That is,
and home losses in there.
Home losses too. Like, they were. Are they in the tournament?
I saw people. So
yeah, they are.
I saw.
Or with being 17-12 with like those losses.
They need to. They have what? Who do they play on Saturday?
Next.
That's what. So what I saw is basically if they can avoid losing to Georgetown,
which they will. I don't want to go out on a limb. But
I don't know, man.
No,
Georgetown needs their one win.
I think the committee's got to start looking at these resumes a little bit more. Like, so within their conference, they're what the fuck are they? 7-11, right? Those wins are against Marquette, who I think still overrated. Marquette, Butler, Creighton, DePaul, Creighton, Butler, and Connecticut. Like, where is the elite?
That Creighton sweep has a little more weight after
I guess.
And the UConn win, like 3 clear tournament wins.
Yeah.
and Ohio State.
I guess
Even
it's just
that's-
like, yeah. I don't know. That's not really a. You're right. They're playing their way out. Who knows? The Big East has a bunch of okay teams. It really does. We've said it a million times. Like they're just okay. There's no conference I trust less.
I got it. We're getting into. I need to ask you guys a question. Coach K has coached 208 different players since 1980.
Okay.
Every single one of them is invited on Saturday. How many of them go?
I saw that they're expecting it. I saw tonight. So we're recording this obviously Wednesday night. I saw tonight somebody said that they were expecting 70 to 75.
I know 2 that won't go. Greg
Jalen
Paul-
Johnson.
Greg Paulus and
Jalen
Nate James.
Johnson,
Greg Paulus and Nate James.
Semi Ojale.
They'll be on-
grandmother.
They'll be on benches. They won't. They'll be playing. They're not going.
Oh, great.
Tommy Amaker won't be going.
Tommy
Tommy
Amaker
Amaker.
won't be going.
I'm sure. I mean, I thought you were gonna.
Well,
come
I
up
mean, if
like-
we're trying to
of,
get the
why
correct
they
a-
fucking hate
Process
why
of
they
eliminate-
hate them.
Process of elimination. If we're
Who
doing the
gives a fuck
answer,
if they're? I was doing it like if maybe if he doesn't like them. Like who gives a fuck if they're on coaches somewhere?
I would say, Marty.
That was a wild thing to say. Oh, they like.
But
it's
now
just
we
because
know
it was
that the
two fucking
maximum-
weird-ass names that were.
now we know the maximum is 204. So all right, so we work our way from there. I would
Grayson
say,
Allen's
say-
not going to show up because he's in the NBA. Like, what the fuck?
yeah,
do you
he's
mean?
out too. You're
Jason
right.
Tatum's
That's
probably
good.
out.
That's
I'd
fine.
say, like-
Williamson because he called him fat once.
Yep.
over under for me is 100.
Yeah, I think
Under.
they get 100. But
I'll take
a
under.
lot of them are
That's a
still
lot.
playing. A lot of them are still playing. Does like Rashid Suleiman come? Like, is he allowed?
Where are
I
they
mean,
going
how
to
many realistically are still playing? Like 15 to 20?
No, you're probably talking. I mean, you got to factor in guys who are playing overseas probably still
It's
too.
probably
So
Oh,
way
yeah.
more than 20.
45
thinking
to
NBA is
55.
probably like 20, no?
There's got to be a channel. You know how there's a broadcast for that? I need to see that like players lounge and them like doing one by one. Like I want to see Slavik Randolph and fucking Matt Christensen come walking in, like the most random fucking guys from that team. I need to see.
Lee
Like,
Melchione comes walking in and
Yup.
shit.
There's another question I want to ask. What time
There's
is the game
22
have to be?
active. Oh my God. By the way, that was pretty close.
What time's the game start?
So it's a 6 p.m. tip supposed to be, right?
Rico's not happy about that one.
Right.
Yeah,
So it's like
yeah.
this. It's the 6 p.m. window or whatever. I bet you tip is if I said over under at 6:22.
I was gonna say 6:25. So
is he going to make a pregame speech or he's only doing a postgame?
He might
I mean,
make.
he's gonna make it all about him, anyways.
I think he might make a pregame, halftime, and postgame.
he might make every player talk about him. It
Maybe
might just be like his own.
The real question is he going to talk to the sideline reporter at halftime or make fucking Shire do it?
No, that's his thing. Remember, everyone was hopping on me for that.
It would be
Did you
so
see
funny if
ACC?
he like really, really leaned into it being just him. Like every TV timeout, every timeout, he just goes for an interview.
He would, for one day, have the slightest bit of respect for me if he went full Michael Scott and made it like all about. Do you see ACC Network is going to have a dedicated Coach K cam?
Yeah. I mean, they
Oh
should.
my God.
They-
For what
I
though?
don't
He's
know.
just. This is all he's going to do.
Yeah, that's exact because that's a good coach. He respects the game. I'm not sure if I'm ready for this shit. Like I have never experienced a Duke game like without Coach K being the head coach. Like I know he's got some
Sure, you have. He did it this year.
and he has some back spasms and he's gotten sick
Too soon.
too soon. But
Has he ever gotten tossed?
No, refs wouldn't never do that to him.
because he's too nice. What do you mean? It's
Too
just
nice.
like, dude, it's gonna be weird not having him around.
Are you going to cry? Or we're doing a live stream Saturday night.
Well, I won't. I hope not. I hope I don't cry, man. I can't cry. But like after the NCAA tournament, after they win, like yeah, I'm gonna cry.
When
Or lose to
Alabama
a
beat some in
16
the
seed or a
2-7.
15 seed.
God, Alabama beating Duke is now like my dream.
Marty and I were talking in Wisconsin earlier this week. We agreed, and Hank, I don't know if he agreed or disagreed, but he was part of the conversation. it's either a first round exit or a national championship. One of the polar ends of the spectrum is going to be great, just like the Coach
Like
K era to end.
if they
right?
lose in the Final Four, like it'll be whatever, you know.
Even
But
like in
losing
the
the buzzer
Elite Eight,
beater
right?
in
Or
the
Sweet
Elite Eight.
16.
Like if they lose before those if they lose on Sweet 16, like that's still pretty bad for them.
But I think that would be because you have then the quick turnaround in the Elite Eight, right? So if they lose in the Elite Eight, you have a week of people talking about Duke was this close in Shetsky's last year. Whereas if they lose by like 7 in the Sweet 16 to a 3 seed,
You guys know they're gonna go to the Final Four because they're gonna be a week of lead ups of just talking about Coach K.
I already know, and
the last dance. I'm gonna
get
so
so
many
fucking mad.
t-shirts. I'm gonna say so many like Destiny with the Duke, like one last chance, one last fucking. I'm gonna make.
I'm going to sell so many T-shirts of him and Mark Emmert just with bags and shaking hand and like all bribery stuff. It's going to be great. We're going to make so much money off of this.
No, yeah, Coach Cal is well by the book guy for sure.
I do
Yeah,
love him
absolutely
leaning. I do love him leaning into the whole thing. Like if they're up early, let's say they start out on like a 12-0 run and just coast the whole way. Like every media timeout, Shire has the huddle and he does like a lap because he's got 2.5 minutes. He does a lap. He just walks out and he just goes like this, and they're just fucking clapping, like crying, like
Yeah,
He should
I
play
actually-
his grandson for 40 minutes.
yeah. I actually think that's like fucking like almost like so preposterous. It's hysterical.
I want him doing like the president wave, like this one, just like every 2 seconds. It's like, yep, this is it, boys. Just like that.
I want him to make the assistant coaches carry him in like a old like Roman king, just like come wandering in like that.
Bro,
Fucking-
I would imagine with a fucking like little hat on, the king hat, just walking in on the fucking thing.
Think Bobby
Oh,
Knight
man.
goes? Think Bobby Knight goes?
No, they hate each other.
Yeah.
They're not close at all anymore.
They never. I lose track of that. They hate
There was
each other?
I'll have to find it. I don't know. I don't want to give credit wherever it was. There was an article about it like a week ago.
He came to his
That was years ago.
to
It's
his
like
1000th. Yeah,
Like
all
3
right.
years ago.
That's not that long ago.
Old people get senile and start yelling at each other. I don't know.
The ticket prices are dropping big time.
What's that?
Getting is now $36.50. I thought it used to be like in the 5,000s. No,
No, I thought median price was 5,000. Get it was 36.
Yeah. It was
Oh, then maybe I was
still
wrong.
the same. Yeah.
yeah. Either way, it's gonna be crazy. So yeah, tune in 6 o'clock. We'll be in Hoboken, and remember, if North Carolina wins outright, A, that would be hilarious. But B, Marty will have to wear a Tyler Hansbrough jersey on a future stream, or if they don't cover 10 points.
Yep. I
So-
will.
It's in. I want to read this book. It's in Ian O'Connor's book. I guess the
That's what it
2015
was. Yeah.
event. He snubbed them, and yeah, I'll check that out.
For a guy that reads books, just I feel like book readers aren't like you.
They're very they're very calm.
Fucking answer.
I go like when I can read, I zip it out. Like I did the Knicks book in like 2 days, and
Alright.
when Teddy Atlas book, I just couldn't put it down. But it's
Everyone
hard
gives
to-
Rico a pat on the back. He zipped through a book.
you go through. I guess you go periods where you don't pick it up is the problem for me. Like
No, I never pick it up.
I can't tell you the last time I read. The last book I read was the Tiger Woods one. And I don't even know how I finished it. Like it was a
I
good
don't
book.
hate it.
I just don't know how I finished it.
it's decent in the summer, like by the pool and shit like that. It's also like I don't know. You got this thing as a
I'd rather have a high noon with music playing and hanging out. I don't know. That's my problem.
And I have a TV. Just like
That
if
too.
they make a documentary, that's a book.
yeah. I don't know. You can learn things.
That is, I will say, that is a great new trend. Just give me the 10-part documentaries instead.
Yeah.
That's fair. The last talking point I had is a few of these number 1 seed hopefuls righted the ship this week. Baylor on Monday beats Texas by 7, and then on Tuesday, Arizona smoked USC. They won by 20.
USC's the biggest fraud of all time.
I can't figure them out.
I'm going to
bit.
fade them so fast in the tournament.
they're going to be a 6 seed that I'm ready to take an 11 over no matter what.
People like a lot of casuals going to read their box scores, see Mobley, and like, oh, he's still there, and it's the wrong one, and they're going to lose early.
And like, Isaiah Mobley's good too, but he's not Evan Mobley.
Yeah.
The other rumor is Maryland is Andy Enfield's anytime he wants it. I guess he played at Johns Hopkins, or
he went to Johns Hopkins.
He's got ties over there, so they're saying he wants Maryland. It's his.
You wouldn't have to change colors.
Nope.
Is
Keep
it
the same
John
shit.
Hopkins or is it Johns Hopkins?
It's plural. John.
Johns
John?
Hopkins.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it's not
Lacrosse
Johns
powerhouse.
I know who they are. I always said John Hopkins.
Yeah, Johns Hopkins.
So is there two John Hopkins?
I'm pulling up. If Johns Hopkins, it is named after. It is where is it here? It is named after a guy. The guy's name is Johns Hopkins.
His name's Johns?
Yeah.
That's fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's not like it's Johns Hopkins.
I thought there'd just be two guys named John Hopkins.
Michigan has Brandon Johns.
Stupid.
Yeah, but that's a last name. This dude's first name was Johns.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy.
He was an old bag too. He lived to 78 years old in the fucking 1700s and 1800s.
Baylor, without Jonathan Chama, they haven't missed a beat. They've won 4 in a row over TCU, Oklahoma State, Kansas, and Texas.
I gave them out there plus 200 on the Barstool Sportsbook for a 1 seed.
Can I ask a question? And I'm not even being. At what point do you start looking at Wisconsin as a 1?
If they make the final, I think if they make the final, they have a chance. I mean, it depends how everyone else in front of them does.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a 2.
I think there's no way for them to be a 1. If they win it, obviously
they need mayhem.
What?
They need mayhem. They need what happened last Saturday.
Like no joke, like right now, like it's gonna be probably. I mean, Gonzaga is definitely gonna be 1.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, Riggs, you were saying the only locks were Gonzaga and Auburn, and now Auburn's like that fringe.
I know. Now it's like Gonzaga and Arizona, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I think Baylor's there though.
I really think Duke's gonna do it.
I think if Duke runs the table, they'll get it.
They still need some help.
I don't think they do. I think if they win it all, like they're in position now where it's up to them. Like they're the 4 seed right now. Like Gonzaga.
What if it's? Let me tell you that. What if it's Gonzaga? Let's say Gonzaga wins their conference. Obviously, wins their conference. Arizona wins the Pac-12, and they beat UCLA in the title game. Baylor wins out, and they beat Kansas or Texas Tech, so they have that win. Kentucky wins out, and they beat Auburn and either Arkansas or Tennessee. And Duke wins out. I don't think Duke jumps. I think they end up being like the first 2 seed.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously that's a lot all to win their conference and shit. But yeah, you're right.
Sure.
I'm just saying, I think Duke has the easiest road. Like
Gonzaga
has the first easiest road, and then Duke has the second easiest road. Because
on the flip side, what do you make of Wisconsin, who could beat Michigan State, Iowa, and then Illinois or Purdue to win a Big Ten title? Like why? Like I saw a bracket today. Wisconsin was a 3, Purdue was a 2. Wisconsin has a better record.
Well, I said on the show that it was flipped if Wisconsin.
Yeah, if we're going all in on Wisconsin, like at this point, their resume is what their resume. Like,
right.
I don't know. You win that league, it's a tough league.
You still got to jump people. Like, who are they jumping?
Yeah,
you jump. I guess you jump people by winning the tournament. I guess I get what you're saying, but
they need people to lose. I agree that Duke does have the best path. Gonzaga's the best path, and it's Duke. Because they have the home game against Carolina, and they can run the ACC and just hope for, I don't know, like fucking Texas wins the Big 12 and Arkansas wins the SEC, and then but conversation.
Like Duke shouldn't, whatever. I don't know. They coasted through a weaker conference. I know it's going to hurt you, Marty, but like their best wins are before Christmas with Kentucky and Gonzaga, and then they played in a week. Losses. Then they played in a weak ACC where they did take losses, like. I don't know. I guess reward the league, compare the leagues. Like gun to head, no committee member is saying that the ACC is tougher than the Big Ten. So
No,
at that
they're
point,
not,
like
but
truly
Wisconsin-
reward it.
Yeah, but I don't think you rewarded like Duke is still no matter what. Like then Gonzaga shouldn't be one at all. Like if you're saying that, it's that get them out like that. You can't even do
I
that
guess it's
because
I guess it's contradictory.
Duke beat Gonzaga and they beat Kentucky.
Well,
no
it's
matter
not.
what
It's not that crazy because it's a Power 5 versus a Power 5. You know what I mean?
No, I know, but it's still like Gonzaga. Like that just I understand what you mean. Like I know the ACC is down, but if Duke is they're 24-4 right now,
26-4.
26-4, and they end up being like 30-4. There's no. I just don't see a world that they're not a 1 seed.
I still think they'd end up. They would need a little bit of help, or just a little bit of help in that scenario.
Yeah, the only issue with Duke is any loss is a bad loss from here on out. So
Yeah, they have to win out to be a 1.
yeah, 100%. The Villanova Providence game. Go ahead, Marty.
If Kentucky, Arizona, or Baylor didn't win it all, that's it for them.
Maybe Kansas.
Yeah.
Like if Kansas ends up beating Baylor and Texas Tech in the Big 12 tournament, then I'd be like, okay, shit, Texas Tech, could they have a case? I know they just took a loss.
They win the tournament. They win the tournament. Yeah, the Big 12. Whoever wins the tournament will most likely be the one.
Next week's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, unbelievable. The Villanova Providence game. Obviously, the spread was so high. Providence held their own, but not really worth breaking down because it didn't really mean much except for seeding. They'll both probably be. Providence is going to get underseeded because the committee's not going to respect them probably, and they'll probably get a 3-ish.
Yeah,
Villanova
I guess
probably as well.
There was a lot of talk like Providence is going to punt this game because it doesn't mean anything. Ed Cooley doesn't punt anything.
Right.
So
You meant something for the seeding, like you said.
Of course,
like,
yeah. I mean,
and the fact that like
he's just a guy who like you want to test yourself against the best every night. Like, why are we going to waste an opportunity against Villanova? You know.
What do you think of it? The fact that they didn't have to play 3 games in the Big East, so they have like what people are calling an asterisk title.
I mean, I don't know if it's an asterisk. Obviously, COVID had to do with that, and
I'm just saying what people are saying.
Yeah, I think those people have a point, but I wouldn't say those people have a point about saying it's unfair they didn't play those toughest games, but I wouldn't go as far to say it's an asterisk.
It could have happened to anybody is where I'm at. It's not like it's like Providence. It could have happened to anybody. So why are we like don't get bent out of shape faulting Providence? It just
like,
happened to be
COVID outbreak.
It just happened to be Providence. Providence also overachieved to even get there. Like a lot of things had to fall into place. I'm not really worked up about it. I'm not. People would.
I don't care. I get it. Where if I'm a Nova fan, it's like, well, shit. We probably just win the title if they have to play those 3 games.
No, I mean, you know who would affect? It doesn't even affect Villanova fans because they don't really care about Big East. I mean, regular season titles. It affects the gamblers. Somebody who had Nova, who laid the wood with Nova, is probably pretty pissed right now. That's all.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. Have you guys been watching some of these mid-major tournaments to wrap up here? I was watching
12-5 tonight.
Yeah, the Big South had 3 games go to overtime, and then Charleston Southern hit a buzzer beater. Charleston Southern was 6-24. They beat UNC Asheville. They beat their 5 wins before this. Johnson and Wales, Bob Jones, Tarleton State, High Point, and Toccoa Falls.
All I'll say is I hope March is like this.
Yeah, just the chaos.
Yeah, that's all I want.
The best. So yeah, that's our first March episode. Next time you hear from us, there will be some tickets punched in the NCAA tournament. Ohio Valley is Saturday night. Missouri Valley is Sunday. Arch Madness. I think the Big South as well. Marty, by the way, if you watch our Sling show, you can watch it on demand, by the way. By the time this is live, you can watch on demand on Sling. Marty had to pick 3 conference tournament champions. He goes 3 for 3. I have to curse, which I guess I just did because I was a little stressed out earlier. And Rico has to tweet at Nate Oates when Alabama, if they get eliminated from the NCAA tournament, saying, what was it? Good seat, or I'm disappointed in you?
Disappointed job or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other extreme is if Marty goes 0 for 3, Marty has to blindfold himself for the entirety of Duke's and ACC tournament run.
Mine seem way worse.
Yeah.
Like I always do this. Like I agree. I'm like, yeah, it's great. And then I think about the other people. I'm like, you have to curse what you did already. And Rico has to just tell the truth.
To be fair, you did get 2 picks for each conference.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I don't even know anyone on the teams. But
Plus,
that's
Rico's
good.
ruining lifelong relationships.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right. To end the show though, Rico, you have anything to say to us?
It's March. Let's have a good March.
You fucking twat.
Clap it up.
No, I ain't clapping.
Turn it around.
For shit. Yeah, you turn around. Stop being a
Turn
bitch.
around.
Coming to work tomorrow.
We're ready to turn it around, Rico. We
Turn
would
it
love for you
around.
to join us.
Turn it around.
We're gonna see you in the office.
Tomorrow? I
Yeah.
don't know. I got the sniffles. I'll see what's going on.
Can you imagine like anywhere else you acted like this? Just like, hey, you coming to work tomorrow? Nah, I haven't gotten a desk. I have a desk at Barstool for the first 4 months of my work there. Like
I
said at
still
the
don't even
bar.
really have a desk. I just took a little clutter of a beer pong table and attached it to Marty's desk.
He actually has 2 desks and he's still not coming.
Yeah.
2.
You have an office. You have the office.
He has 2 offices in the entire place and he has one and he's being a bitch.
I do love
Didn't you
it.
request Dave's office?
You sitting in Dave's office would make for unbelievable content.
No,
Like, just
he
become
doesn't-
Dwight. Become Dwight
If
from
you
the
can't
office.
do
and
it,
just
you
make
can't-
yours.
I like to start on a Monday. You can't do something right in the middle of the week.
You for sure can, because this is when people care. People don't care on Monday.
Right.
I hate when you just say right.
I would love to see you in the office.
No
tomorrow,
joke.
Rico.
I want everyone knowing like you are worse than an abusive girlfriend. Like you,
The stress from dealing with you, especially this week, has been something
like
else.
usually like if an abusive girlfriend, at least like sometimes she'll fuck you. I get nothing from you.
Just a lot of K text and fine where we need to
Yeah,
talk.
just like-
Dot.
It's like
the literal K text, though. That's what
Yeah.
Rico's been sending this week.
Yep.
He
Just
wouldn't
the letter
answer
K.
me. He wasn't even answering me.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And people think it's a shtick. I'm telling you, none of it is a shtick.
It's worse than a shtick.
Marty has his Duke shtick. Rico, none of it's a shtick. It's crazy. But that's the show. Hopefully we get a re-energized Rico on Monday. It'll be Champ Week. We're very excited. Thank you all for listening. Remember to watch this show on Sling. There's a free trial available as well. A new episode of that will be coming out next week. Selection show coming next Sunday. So a lot on the horizon. Best time of the year. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you on Monday.